Hey guys, yeah, 2 o'clock, 2 hours to go on a very positive afternoon here. Once again, led by the NASDAQ and tech stocks specifically. Just saw one that popped up just as we were about to come on here, NXGN to the upside in a big way. Ton of volume just following this as well. They're going to explore a possible sale of the company. That was the headline that just came through on this one, 7% to the upside right now. Volume tailing off pretty quick here, but just a heads up on NXGN. That, on the other hand, is how things are looking as far as the S&P 500 is concerned. Very little in the way of red left over here. It's turned into quite the day. J&J, AbbVie, XOM, few other energy stocks. That's about all you need to know. Everything else is positive, including the banks. They were negative to kick things off early on this morning. Back to the upside in a big way. A ton of green on this board. Not huge moves, mind you. There is one or two here. That's Schwab, I guess, 2.6. BR, we'll have a look at that anyway. Banks to the upside, Amazon to the upside, Walmart, HD, all of the retailers looking pretty good here heading into the final couple hours. Tesla as well. It's all about these. I mean, it's been that way all day long. Tech leading in a monster way. 4.7% there for Netflix on that subs note. If you missed it early on this morning, more subscribers than expected last month in the US, specifically on that ad-supported tier specifically as well. 2.7 there for Intel. Broadcom, I saw, is going to come next week. Earnings from Broadcom coming up next week as well, so we'll have that to look forward to. Oracle, Meta, Adobe, Cisco, ACN, CRM, to name a few. CRM also coming through next week with their earnings report. So still some notable names to come as far as earnings are concerned. Still some notable events to come as far as Jackson Hole is concerned coming up over the next couple of days, Thursday, Friday. Friday going to be the headliner. We'll get Fed Chair Powell making some comments at 10 a.m. because why not on Friday morning regarding his continued work towards getting this inflation problem under control. A few other things to note. Obviously, NVIDIA we'll get into right off the bat here to kick things off. Earnings to come 4:20 tonight. Make sure you're with Sean coming up after 4 o'clock for the recap show. He's going to have great guests come through, talk a little bit about not only NVIDIA as it happens. Again, 4:20 we'll get those numbers, but maybe what to look for going forward as far as opportunities are concerned. What a day it's turned into, guys. Pretty positive across the board.
It definitely is. I'm like chuckling to myself because I left this morning saying, I'll find my way back into an NVIDIA long. Of course I will.
Yep. Where's the stream?
I did not find myself back into an NVIDIA long, and it's at $470 NVIDIA to the upside. So congratulations to everyone that found their way into some kind of a long in NVIDIA today, because it's been an absolute beast. Not much else to say. Again, what the folk, that thing is at the high of the day. Finally joined that party. And oddly enough, despite NVIDIA constantly going up, my Marvell short's doing okay, which is weird because NVIDIA is up 3%. That is the story. We should have a count on how many times we say NVIDIA in the afternoon show, because I promise you, whatever you think it is, just take the over. It is what everybody is waiting for. Huge earnings. About the only thing no one's ready for is for NVIDIA to not move more than 5% and then for the market to barcode for the next month. That's the only thing no one's pricing in.
Yo, what's up? Okay, here we go. What's up to Ty Alexander? I still love you, dog, but I'm asking in the afternoon show. What are you asking?
Asking me what?
What are you asking? What are you asking? You can ask me on any show.
What? I missed that. Where it's
all good. It's all good.
Who
I don't know.
that?
Ty Alexander, what's up? Anyways, okay, so...
I don't even see that message.
Don't worry about it. You're probably in the wrong chat. Is that the one that's actually moving now? Or did I click on the wrong one?
Maybe I'm in the wrong... Hold on a second.
Oh, Spino... I think you're in the wrong one. Spino Master is making Chipotle pork loin. Very nice. That's nice on that. All right, so we've been short AMD, which has been nice as well. You talked about NVIDIA, and obviously they're coming through tonight. Join me tonight, and we will go all over that. We have Chris Bretcher coming through, 42 years experience on the CBOE. He used to work in the IBM pit, currently running some butterflies options on NVIDIA. So we'll talk all about options with him. We'll talk all about everything with him tonight. And just another guest to come through. So I just want to talk about what we're doing here on AMD. We have one stop out when it broke this high right there, 109.25. But other than that, man, we screwed up early. We talked about that. We got out of the way. Thank God we got out of the way there. Trying to get a little smarter. There, I can't see that on the screen, but there it is. And then we just shorted this nice little bump up again on AMD. And just trying to be patient, man. Patience always seems to win the day. But we'll short AMD, and we are excited. I mean, NVIDIA's back to all-time highs right now, give or take $11. You're going to get some fat fingerprints that are going to send this thing up through 500 anyways at the end of the day. Just waiting for anticipation for the earnings. I hope it comes a little bit earlier than 4:20. We'll be here to cover it all. I just want to go quickly here and talk about what that poll was at. Oh, I tweeted this out. How cool is this? Right now, I don't know if you guys can see this here. Oh, no, it's gone now. There was some guy here cruising on, here, if I go like this. Check out this. Times Square. This must be for a movie or something. Hey, Neil, you ever see anything like this? This is a human-controlled drone.
I've seen that.
The guy has the controller in his hand. So I tweeted that this is us waiting out for NVIDIA earnings. You know, you're looking down, you're trying to figure out what's going to happen with those earnings. But what I really wanted to find out, oh no, now I'll find it later.
It's the Goblin.
Oh yeah, here's this. Yeah, what's up to the Jura, the coffee machine this morning? The Goblin, that's the word I was looking for.
From Spider-Man, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, they must be filming something right here, but here's...
No, I don't know if it is for sure. It looks like the Goblin.
Looks like. Yeah. I mean, as I said, man, this is like a U.S. election right now on NVIDIA. Will we break $500? I mean, I didn't put like, are we going to be 400 or 500? It's just, will we break $500 on earnings? We're at 470 right now. And look at this, man. It is winning right now, which is a little bit of a surprise. I'm going to put this in the chat. You guys can go ahead and vote on it.
That's not technically winning.
It's only 5.
That's flat.
This is flat. This is about as flat as it can get. But, you know, at the end, if someone's going to raise the trophy, it would be no right now. So let's go over and see what's going to happen. It's funny, only 481 votes. We'll see if we can get a little bit more on that right now. We can even put the poll up in our chat if you want as well for that. But okay, I got to address some of this Microsoft trade as well because this is a name that we're short right now. Whoa, we just got a nice fill downside right there. So yeah, making a little bit of money back here. Let's punch some more out at 50 and see what happens with the rest of the day here with Mr. Softy, Brendo.
Caught Ramin off guard there. Foot Locker downside in a big way, as we said in the pre-market. Really hasn't been much of a bounce at all. We got back above 16, so I guess there's that. If you missed it, yeah, not good right across the board. Same store sales downside forecast was questionable to say the least. They came out with a call during the pre-market as well and said even more cautious remarks in the way of what has come from Foot Locker. So yeah, it was a negative day to say the least. We can't even, I mean, right now it's testing 16 again here for Foot Locker.
Yeah, they beat on the top line, but they definitely missed on the bottom line, as well as the year-over-year net loss. Last year, they were able to swing a $50 million profit. This year, they're looking at $250 million in the red on the quarter. So it's tough. They talked about, you know, a lot of macroeconomic headwinds, as well as the dreaded shrinkage word, Brendo, as they continue to suffer losses from that.
Why do I feel like we're going to hear that more and more as time goes on here? I was just double checking relative volume on the day. Wow, 23.5 for relative volume for Foot Locker today.
You're right, though, because all the retailers are talking about the same thing, and it is a legitimate problem. There's absolutely no question about it, and something like some shoe has to drop, but I guess a bunch of round of earnings where companies are losing 20, 30% in a single day, maybe that gets people's attention. There was one, we're going to get to Peloton in a second. There were probably two interesting looking SSR bounces. Stocks are down more than 10%. I thought Peloton was better. I don't know that you can say that because, you know, Foot Locker at 15 was probably just as good. It wicked underneath 15. It ends up getting to 16.5, so it does a 10% bounce. Peloton did a 10% bounce, so you could have had either one of those two, and we'll get to Peloton in a sec. It never got through the open high. So it ends up wicking. You guys saw this in the afternoon show because Max was in the long. That's 16.5. It could not beat it. That's almost exactly 10% from the low on Peloton. And only because Sean put this poll up, and I said that poll looked a lot like the Ross Perot election.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I stand corrected. I'm talking about, because Sean put up the poll, it was 43%, NVIDIA 500 yes, 43 no, and then Ponzi scheme was 12%. But Ross Perot got 19% of the popular vote that year, which that's almost twice as much as I thought was true. Isn't that amazing? Like, I've seen the video of when when he bought the like the hour-long like ad during like
Right.
primetime TV. That is, imagine somebody pulling that off now. I'm not trying to get into the whole politics thing, but it's almost unimaginable that somebody ran independently in the U.S. and got 19% of the popular vote. However, he didn't get any electoral seats because that's how the system works. So that's all I will say about that. I just found it interesting, and I had made the comment in the morning show, and I just wanted to give respect to Ross Perot for doing much better than I thought he did in the past. But Foot Locker, one thing to keep in mind here is look at how big this move is to the downside. I don't know what the next shoe to drop is, but there's been a lot of like casualties along the way because of this. So you see a big move to the downside today. Nike broke 100 and is starting to bounce here. So Nike got underneath and retested this level from back in December of 2022 and is starting a bounce. If there's going to be some kind of a relief rally in some of these retail names, kind of thinking low-key Nike back through 100 tomorrow, as long as this is the bottom. I mean, if we come in tomorrow and it's gapped to low, forget about it. But if this holds on to up here, maybe coming back through 100 is going to be something on Nike. It's just been such a bloodbath for these names. You got to feel like there's going to be a bounce. And maybe the start was today with Foot Locker making that bottom, Nike making a bottom as well. Nasty for these overnight, but maybe signs of a bit of a temporary bottom.
All right. I did want to talk about something here because this Uranium ETF rate here, we talked about this with Michael Noss just a couple days ago on our after show. That's why you have to join on Monday if you can, and then today's only Wednesday. We talked about this breaking out, so a shout out to that as Uranium keeps on going up. We also have CCJ, of course, Cameco right here trying to make some new moves as well, back up to the upside. You'll see this chart hopefully if it goes. Nice little, wind up to the upside right now, talking about some Uranium. I did not trade any Foot Locker today, but I am in some Peloton, so we'll find out about that as we go back over to the big desk with Brendan and Sharif at some point.
Let's talk Peloton here. Back to the downside today as well in a big way. We did get a nice recovery out of the gate this morning, but just hanging out here. Hasn't been much to do since the market opened, really. The initial move back to the upside, as I mentioned. 575, I guess, comes into play. Wasn't much in the way of anything to really sink your teeth in as far as this earnings report was concerned. I mean, the subs number, I guess, held on, but that was about it.
Yeah, they're really the only silver lining here. It was mostly bad, but the only silver lining was the new CEO was really able to kind of control costs. We know that they bled last year $1.2 billion in the negative. This year, he was able to, on the quarter, he was able to kind of bring that down to about $250 million. So, trying to get his house in order, Brenda.
Was there, I mean, outside of the long, guys, was there an opportunity since then?
Well, what's weird is I thought there was going to be a short off of 580, but that actually only happened pretty much at the top, which is weird. I thought we were bouncing into 580 for sure, but it never happened. But really, if it doesn't break the low, there's one place to go for an SSR bounce. You could have done the difference between Peloton. Peloton probably was better. And here's the reason why. Because you actually had to wait for Foot Locker to get down to 15, wick the bottom, and then be Johnny on the spot. This one showed you right before the open, there's your local high, there's your bottom, and then all you had to do was right at the open, take the long to the local bottom. You throw your stop in there, and then you just let it ride. I got out in front of 580 because I did think that was probably eventually going to be a short. But that's when the SSR bounce works, that's what it looks like. And the thing about it is, when you get a move like that, you should be able to withstand 3 or 4 times that it doesn't work because you're having a relatively tight stop. So, in this particular case, it worked right away. If you took Foot Locker, you had to let it settle down at 15 even, and then it worked. We've seen it work a couple of times with some other names in the last few weeks because there's been a lot of names down that 10%. And just to double check, it's at a 10% short float. I think in the case with a short sell restricted bounce, you're looking for something that has a short float because you want shorts to be taking profit. That's part of what's gonna give you the move. And if it's a 1% short float, maybe you don't take it. But when it's 8, 9, 10%, 15%, or numbers like that, then it becomes very, very enticing here with Peloton. Oddly enough, that same breakout price is held as support. So maybe there is something, now that I'm looking at it, maybe there is something to sit in a long off this and maybe breaks back above VWAP again. Interestingly enough, it's held that open range very well.
Yeah, I think that there was people asking like I'm still in Peloton, but you could have reloaded it here at 525. You are waiting for an opportunity to go down. I'm in 5%. I mean, it is the exact same trade from the morning. It's just it broke out the pre-market there. We were talking about a long, and it's just crazy because it did come back into that price, and we could have got longer, but we didn't. And we actually kind of ignored it. So yeah, if you see the Peloton trade on board, it's nothing like not a brand new idea or anything like that by any stretch of the imagination. It's the same trade that we had from time. So. I was too busy battling demons here with Softy and everything. We're now $1.25 in the money as it continues to go down, but we lost money shorting this until it finally started to fall. I mean, not necessarily the right way to trade, but when you get it, you get it. We still have 25% on for this move as it hits down $1.20 now in the money. So good trade here for Softy. We'll see where it goes from now. You asked in the chat there, Spinomaster, where my target was. We actually was talking about the 200 period right there. So that's why we got out a bunch in front of the 200 period. Now it broke down. So we got some more out in front of 328 for Microsoft. I'm only going over this because we don't have any really big tech to talk about other than Tesla, which is flying right now. There's that 327. We do have a little bottom pick right there to come through. That happened at about 12 o'clock. Other than that, I just think you just start to piece this out again. It's extended through our price target, so it was a good one. Wow, it just went to 80s down there again. All right, let's take another piece out here at evens and then put something in the 80s and take another one out there. So yeah, so far so good here on the Microsoft trade. It's really working to the downside, but only just now. It did take a while to get going. Look at the market. Microsoft 1.7. NASDAQ also 1.7. Okay, Microsoft, I see you. Just flew down to the bottom side. It is now, of course, it's just joined. We also have AMD that's looking to join the dollar club as well at some point, so that'll come through there. We actually got $1 already, looking for this to break 108. I just wonder about the NASDAQ just fading out the rest of the day. It's up 1.7%. We have a big earnings print tonight.
Who's that?
So.
Is there big earnings tonight?
Yeah, Snowflake and Dollar,
yeah,
and
Snowflake.
Dollar Tree.
Yeah, of course. How did I forget that?
Dollar Tree's tomorrow morning. So.
Oh, tomorrow morning, Dollar Tree.
Yeah, pay attention to that.
I'm more of a Dollarama person, but.
Yeah, we don't actually have. There's actually a few Dollar Trees.
SVV, Savers Value Village.
Yeah.
Because that's like, anyways, doesn't matter.
Yeah. Anyways,
We
right.
mean NVIDIA, obviously.
Back over there because AMC is on the move today.
Yeah, it was a little bit tricky as well if you were only looking downside, as one may if this was how things were looking in the pre-market. Sitting here at a shelf, essentially 195, 190 was acting as support in the pre-market. We get the push back to 220, and here we are right back where we started for AMC again. Reverse split coming as of the open tomorrow.
Yeah, down over 42% in the past 2 days. We know that for 1 to 10 coming in, it's now given up all the gains that it made since the January 2021 meme stock craze. Let's see what happens here. I think the float, though, for AMC is going to increase from 542 million to 550 after the split. So interesting.
Had to be super patient with this morning if you were looking short, guys.
You know, I wasn't looking short today on AMC. Probably should have been, but wasn't. The short would have been better on AMC, but it just never got to where I thought. I actually believed that the two could have gotten like AMC and APE could have gotten close to a conversion, and not conversion, come close to a convergence where they would get to the same price and then we'd get a bounce. That never happened. It got within, I think, 10 cents of each other, and at the open it started going, but it didn't break the low. The last couple of days it's been an easy short. You sit in the pre-market, it flushes. You take the first consolidation, it flushes again. 10% each time, and then that's your day on AMC. But it never broke the low. It started going up, higher lows. So I let it make the higher lows and took the breakout. I thought it was going to squeeze. It didn't. I held on to 40% for break even, and I probably should have just shorted it in front of 220. So I'll be up on it, but it would have been a heck of a lot better if it had just been a short, because you're just still sitting in the short. Like if you just shorted the first pop, that was the first pop, and you'd still be sitting in this trade with no reason to get out. I mean, I feel bad for anybody that thought this was going to go to the moon for reasons of dilution. That never made sense to me. I don't know why a lot of people were talking about that on Twitter. That logically makes absolutely no sense. And I don't know ultimately where this ends up, but reverse split, usually one thing happens. We'll look for that tomorrow, but that's going to be tomorrow's trade. I don't really see an entry point here today. Maybe it breaks down. But even then, here, I'm going to show you guys what the level 2 looks like on AMC. Even if it breaks down, like look at the bid ask on this bad boy. Oh, my head's in the way. There you go. That's the bid ask, and it's like that at every level. Like every level, it's just like a ton of size. So I don't know how much this is even going to be able to fall. Like maybe it grinds lower, breaks something down, but then there's just another 30, 40,000, 300 or 400,000 shares at pretty much every single level. And only because in the chat I promised I would answer this. What made me go short Oracle? So if you were watching during the middle of the day, I wish I'd held that long. If you're watching during the middle of the day, Oracle fell. Maybe there was options volume. Maybe it was just a breakdown. Maybe somebody fat fingered. Something weird happened on Oracle that makes no sense. It dropped from 120 to 112. 112 happens to be a big level. If you pull back, maybe the 15, yeah, there you go. If you pull back, go into the middle of the month, it wicked under 112 and then found support right away. So that's where it bounced. Oftentimes in a liquidity crunch, that's where you get the bounce. I went long 112.30 and wish I'd held it. I scalped it for like $1.20. But as it got grinded back to the high, I just looked at exactly where it rolled over. So it rolled right over at 119.50, and the market was at a top. So I'm like, okay, if it gets up there, that's the only place I'd look for the roll. Now, obviously, it hasn't flushed like before, but that's the reason I'm short here, 119.53, is this is exactly where it rolled over from middle of the day. Still see no reason. There's no actual news. There was some potential options activity that could have caused it. I know, Sean, you say it's a fat finger. I tend to think that seems pretty likely. Based on the movement I saw, it looked more like a fat finger than it did anything else. So, again, still no explanation what happened to Oracle. But when it does, if you can catch a bottom, you should be doing better than holding on to it than I did. Because that was wild. And I don't think, usually you don't get second shots at moves like that. Like once it bounces, that's it. If you got the long, you kind of want to hold it. But at that moment, I still thought maybe there was news, to be honest with you.
Yeah, when we were searching around trying to find that news, there was none. So I did not pay for shorts in AMC, but I probably should have. Remember we were talking about it being 7 cents, and I actually gave this exact trade as the trade that I'd look at. That would be a 210 short. So that came in at about, I mean, first of all, if you would have had it the first time, you were laughing because that would have been right there, paid for it itself. Retraces back down, actually only traces 13 cents. Then it gives you 210 again. That goes back to 203, so you're making pretty good money. Then it busts up higher, so that's obviously the risk there into 220. But yeah, this is a share structure game. We've talked about this over and over again. If you believe in the name, you are now at pandemic bottoms of $2, where it was before it started to go ham up to 72, I think it was, or so was the maximum there. But anyways, AMC, great opportunity to go long if you believe in it. I don't. I actually think it's too bad that there's all this APE and AMC and all this kind of stuff because it just kind of confuses everything. I do think that it'll be much nicer once we get all together, and then we'll be able to see, you know, one consistent price. Like one right now is 180, one's 198. You know, you're pretty close. So let's get it all under one symbol here, and then see where we go from that point forward. So I'm just gonna wait for it. It should be an exciting trade tomorrow, I guess.
One love.
Yeah, there's always
one heart.
And then
let's
one
get
mic.
together.
And one mic, of course.
And be apes. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, here we go. We'll just do this. But anyways, tomorrow should be fun to trade this name. We'll see about the shortable shares and what the availability is. And hopefully it's a little bit less than 7 cents. But I think we'll get more range tomorrow.
All right, Tesla, meanwhile, a slow but steady grind back to the upside. It's worth noting, volume-wise, it's actually been a little bit higher than normal right across the board for tech specifically, but Tesla specifically as well. On the relative volume chart, here's 2% after a gap to the downside this morning. What was that note on the German output? But no one cares.
Yeah, well, they apparently, the Germany the Gigafactory there is going to cut production from 5,000 cars a day to is it a month? Yeah, 5,000 cars a month to 4,000. Not like anybody cares, but here's the real headline, guys. Elon tweeting on X at 1:37 p.m. There he is in the Cybertruck, smiling ear to ear. He's happy. He's calling this the production version of the Cybertruck. Shout out to whoever likes this car.
Yeah, I saw another picture of a car carrier with another load going somewhere today as well on Twitter, guys. So they're coming to a street near you, hopefully.
Looking at that, I was just saying.
Not hopefully.
Looking at that picture, if I show that to my daughter, she would look at it and be like, Roblox, we need to get that, Daddy. And I would say no. But yeah, it's weird. Tesla is it's even stronger than I would have thought today. I really did feel like, I don't know, I didn't think it was gonna do this. And as we get to 241, let's get to the nuts and bolts of it. This is where it turned around yesterday. If I can zoom back a little bit further, it's been some resistance for the last couple of weeks at 241, so it's pretty darn close. Like if it does one good push, I just feel like reversal. I can see some risk off happening going into NVIDIA earnings. Not that that's directly related, but I mean, if NVIDIA pulls back, doesn't it drag everything with it? I kind of think anything that has a high valuation at least. And if that happens, and if we get any kind of selling going into the close, I would think that 241. It's the resistance level I'm looking for. I don't want to mess around with anything else. If it gets to 240 and above, I'll be looking for the fade play on Tesla. I didn't make a single execution on Tesla today. You know, at the morning I was looking at NVIDIA and then Google for a long, late Oracle, Marvell, which I'm in right now. Obviously, we talked a lot about Peloton there at the open. So Tesla was just never really at the top of the list for me. And just because we're talking Tesla, I'm going to point this one out because once again, Rivian has managed to survive the depths of underneath $20. Like only so many times you're going to be able to make this bounce on Rivian. The time that it doesn't, this is what is awaiting this stock. If it breaks beneath 20 bucks, I think you've got like $4 or $5 this could pull back. I like Rivian. They're probably really well capitalized, but it is now riding the 200 period moving average here, or at least coming close to it. If it breaks that down and it's resisting the 50 period. So it's resisting the 50 period on the upside, and it's kind of gliding along this 200 without actually breaking it. At some point, if this breaks the channel, you know, something nasty could happen on Rivian. I guess it goes both ways because it could always squeeze back through the 50 period, but this is almost coiling up for a breakout one way or the other on Rivian. Just got to be patient, wait for it to actually happen.
All right, I liked Tesla last couple of days for sure as a good trade. We actually had a good trade on it yesterday. It was one of the top names for me. I can't remember the levels and it disappears, but probably tweeted it out. But look at today. I mean, today on Tesla, it's just been one way, basically, all the way to the upside. You did get some 50-period rejections earlier where it came back in, hit the 50 period. That's the pink line. Hit it, went up, hit it, went up, hit it, went up again. So we're going to have to watch out right now. But 236 coming into play right now for Tesla. That could be a good little dump off there. I mean, maybe the 200 period, which we rejected right there. I don't know, man. This looks like a pretty good one at 237. So Tesla, good name. I mean, I like the stock. I like everything about it. It's the name that I'm dip buying. So if Elon's tweeting out him rolling around in a Cybertruck, we know that that's not far away from a dealership or a showroom near you. And I've been tweeting out, just like Brendan said, all those pictures of all these trucks just rolling off, off the production onto semis and heading over to wherever they're going. But yeah, it's not too far away. Excited for it. I think Tesla's a dip buy at any opportunity. Let's go over to the desk with Brendan again.
A rundown brought to you by Trade Ideas, real-time scanning and alerting used on the desk by everyone you see on the show. See what's moving in the moment. Check out the QR code, bottom right corner of the screen, guys. Take advantage of this if you haven't. Great deal, 20% off. TraderTV20. Shout out to our friends over at Trade Ideas.
Good look there. And just a bit of an alert. I'm going to ring the Reggie on Oracle here. It just got down underneath 118.5. This is the last support zone that it had. Well, actually, I shouldn't say not the last support zone. On the way to the upside, it was kind of that last little support zone it had, right around 118 to 118.5. So it is rolling over. The market is bouncing down off of the highs. I'll show you that chart in a quick second. I think this is probably going to, if it doesn't hold 118, I think there's a decent chance if it gets under VWAP, it holds the 117. Remember, this was just like a flash crash out of nowhere. So it was one of the strongest stocks actually in the market at the time that it happened when it started to roll over. So if you go with that, it's still a relatively strong name, but it came right back into a support level that I want to respect. And speaking of respecting, one of the things that we should respect is the futures. Pulling back off the highs. Well, the channel that we sat in for most of lunchtime had a 15-2 top with a 30 handle, 35 handle or so range. But that 15-2 resistance turns into potential support. If it holds there, you get these bounces off levels. So if it's going to bounce here and retest the highs, that's a good place to take profit on any shorts that you have. I did not show you, but I mentioned that I'm not in NVIDIA, but I was able to sit in the Marvell. Pretty much as NVIDIA kept climbing higher and higher and higher, Marvell made the same flat top. The first time I was in it, it wicked the high and then gave me another reentry off that high. I added on the way down, which I don't love. Actually, probably shouldn't have done that, but it worked out, so still stupid though. Then I get back to just shorting it at 61.20 to 61.25. It's now down around VWAP. I got a bid just under here where it broke out from 60.80. So a little bit of relative to NVIDIA, it's got some weakness in it. They report not tonight, but tomorrow night, Marvell. And if you think NVIDIA can go 10%, I think Marvell's capable of doing a percentage move on their earnings as big as NVIDIA, and it has already shown you that. I wasn't here this day. You guys were on this one when it broke 50?
60, I think it was.
50 or 60. I mean, it doesn't matter because one day it broke 50, the next day it broke 60, the next day it was at 70. Yeah. Marvell can do some NVIDIA things come Thursday after market. Oh, I mean Friday morning, Thursday after market, then Friday morning. It's not doing much today, but it is resisting that 50 period moving average on the daily and showing signs of weakness.
Trying to study how I nailed this Microsoft one so good, but it took so many times to get there. So there comes Microsoft bleeding right now. We just got another fill down here at 80. We did take a fill when it broke through 328, but it is trying to come back into the downside. I just popped some ibuprofen, so if my throat is starting to go, I think it's just getting washed up a little bit right now. So we'll see. If it can last. But that's what we're doing right now on that one. I did want to talk a little bit about Amazon. I was talking even about this with Obi there in the kitchen a little bit, and it was relentless to the upside. We got good shorts. We got some good shorts. I mean, we were talking about this on the midday show at noon. Came up in here into sort of. Let me zoom this back out, because why did I short it? Okay, right there. I was going to say, why would I just randomly short that? But there's the high right there in the pre-market, so we shorted it, good trade, shorted it until it broke out. And we don't have, we don't have a scratch really here. It's just kept on going to the downside until eventually it didn't, right? And then it went all the way up to 136, and now it's starting to fade out just a little bit here. Amazon, that level that we really liked was 137. So, it didn't really get, yesterday's was 136. Sometimes it's just like that. But there's 137 right here. That was a little bit better because 137 was also, maybe I could zoom this back out to look a little bit better. Right here, let's draw some lines. So Amazon right now, 137. Whoa. Oh, cancel that. We want this one. There's 137 right here. So again, it was the bump up there on the earnings play. Then we kept on testing it, and then eventually there was a few more tests in there, and then eventually it broke down below. So now we want to use 137 as resistance, right? So it used to be support right here, and then we played off that a bunch, and now you got to play it the other way. So I'm just wondering, is maybe 136 that top as well right now? So we'll see if we can get it in this channel a little bit, play the shorts back down in. So that's Amazon right now, looking pretty good for sure for the short. If you can stay under this 137, I think we've bounced off. We talked about sort of the depths of some of those trades over the last couple of days. We had Tesla down to 212. We had Microsoft down to 312. Apple down to 170, and they're all kind of bumping up, and so Amazon is obviously doing that as well. So we'll wait to see if that can come in, but that's just my trading today on Amazon. I like the short. I didn't really realize that 136 was yesterday's high. Should have stayed on it. Once we got stopped out there, that's when I sort of switched over to Microsoft and started trading that. But we're right with trading Amazon because it's weaker against the market. There's only two things that I use to trade really with the idea of which direction. That's going to be relative strength, and then also support and resistance levels, right? And then I guess there's three things: in-play stocks, relative strength, and that or weakness, and then vice versa on support and resistance. So, yeah, okay. As we go here, man, AMD, Amazon, those are just a couple good trades too. Thank you so much, Nimit. Nimit's actually visited us here. Remember, that was the individual that visited us. I hope you and
we still have the mug.
Yeah, I have to give Kat, you know what, for that. Kat, how's that mug? How's the shipping on that mug going? Randy. Okay. So Randy's on it. All right. So hopefully you'll get that soon, Nimit. But anyway, shout out to Nimit.
Coming to you in 2024, Nimit, is that mug.
Yeah. No, we're just playing around. Yeah, Randy's on top of it, so it'll be there. It'll be there.
We're just joking.
But anyways, thank you so much for the well wishes. I'll feel better soon. Don't worry about that. Okay, so yeah, Kat's got. Oh, everyone's saying "Hola" now in the chat, so let's go.
Like and subscribe today.
Let's get a live "Hola." How about we just get like a live wave here, Kat? Ooh, she goes with the English version there. Bonjour.
Hello and bonjour. The
She
same.
said bonjour, so I don't know if it's Bon Jovi. Or
Yeah, it
what.
was okay. I think the French was better
Jean
than
Bon
mine.
Jovi.
Jean Bon Jovi.
The French version.
There's
What's
been
up,
a
Ben?
couple of questions about APLS here. And this was on our watch list, Apellis Pharmaceuticals. It was at the bottom of the watch list, so you might have missed out on it. But the question was, is it going to gap fill to the downside? So, I mean, I don't know if I could predict the future. Like, if I thought for sure it was gapping to the downside, I'd be sitting in the short, just begging for it to happen. A lot of times you need to see it break. It gets broken $40 a couple of times and then gotten to $39.80 or $39.90 and then held up. So it probably needs to take out like $39.70, $39.50, and if that happens, there's a lot of downside for this to come back in. But somebody's clearly supporting the stock. If they give it up, maybe it stops out at like $38.50 or $39, somewhere in here first, where there was liquidity at the open. And then if it doesn't do that, if it gets through there, anything could happen. But yeah, you're right. It is absolutely barcoding. That's a decent flat bottom breakdown trade. I don't even know if we have locates on this. Let me just quickly. Yeah, we do. This is free. This is free to short, so you can have this breakdown pretty easily. If we have it free to short, I'm usually assuming most people sort of short it at will or don't have to pay for it, or it's like available with your broker. But yeah, it's looking like it could be a bit of a flat bottom break. I did not mention Fulcrum here. What the folk? I did jump into this right around that 620 level. Like, it did a double top pullback, and then it wicked underneath this little support here. When I saw that, I jumped into the long. It went right here to 40. That's all it's done. It's slowly climbing up. So I was very late to this. Did not get any VWAP dips. Had to wait for it to like do this little hump there. If it breaks down underneath 25, I probably just get it out. The volume is putrid now. So with no volume, there is no trade, unfortunately. But fortunately, we do have a move to the downside. I want to hit one of these ones. I'm going to hit something new. This is the new airplane dropping cash. We still need to improve that one. Or we'll go bearish on Marvell. We definitely have to improve that one. And what's the other good one? Oh, yeah. This is still a good one. I like that one. Although there's one change I would want to make to it that I'll let you guys know. We can definitely figure it out. But Marvell, revenge is a dish best served cold. And yesterday, the lesson I learned was I knew the level I liked on Marvell for rejection. It was right off this 61 area. Going to pop the daily chart up here. Again, Marvell, that's the 50 period on the daily. Sympathy to NVIDIA when it was going up, but I shorted it down in here early instead of allowing it to show me the weakness, failing underneath that price, then giving you the entry off the lower high. Today, instead of when it got up here and trying to short, I said, haha, no, Neil. That's exactly the price area that you screwed up yesterday with. So wait for it to go higher and get to the price that you want. I did have to stop out once because it took the high. I don't mind that. Like, I get into it, take the stop out. If I want back in, instead of adding as it's going up at higher and higher prices, I allow it to fail, show me weakness at the same level that I know I like, and then we get into the short. And it's working. It's just got through VWAP, so that's pretty good. Fulcrum just came out. I wanted to show you guys the stop on Fulcrum because I wasn't going to give it all the way back into here like originally. I had moved my stop to this local bottom. So not bad, but it would have been much nicer, obviously, if it took out that top and kept going. I thought there was room, not to just give you 20 cents, but if it took out a fresh high, you could start filling in this gap, like above 665. And I wanted to hold something through that break, and then suddenly you have parabolic room on Fulcrum to the upside. That's still available. Like, it's at 620. You can always take out that 660 and continue to go higher and higher and higher from there. But that trade will have to wait. The volume needs to be there for a breakout. No volume, no breakout. You do not chase moves in stocks like these when there is no interest in them. Great to hold on when you're in the money, even if the volume comes down because you're in the money, but you're not looking to take a top end break or take a consolidation breakout. Volume picks up, eyeballs are on it, suddenly there's something to do with it, and right now holding on to the shorts is the way to go. I'm going to hit another one here. What do we got? I want one of these. I'm not gonna
What
hit
is it regarding?
No, I'm gonna hit the like that's the old bear. And I keep griping about this, but like the
Well,
old
the new
bear
one sucks. Here's
is like
the new one.
I hit the new one. It's like, what is going on?
You like that one better?
No. I like the old one better.
Right.
But I'd like to have a different version. I feel like we need something new.
Yeah, Fabian can get on that. He doesn't have enough to do.
Of course not. He's literally working hard right now. And you've got a coat on.
He's working.
You cold in here,
It
Fabian?
feels like it's freezing cold in
It
here.
is.
Like, I don't know if I'm getting...
I've done this a few times.
Like, I've already talked about, like, you know, I'm basically dying over here. And now it feels like, oh, by the way, cheers up to everybody.
Cold.
You don't even have a drink?
I have my waters right there.
Yeah, my water's right there, too.
Thanks, Brankos.
Thanks, Brankos.
What's crazy, in the morning it was too hot. And I was getting, and then I asked him to turn it, I did ask him to turn it down. And then now it's too cold. So I guess that means I'm having a midlife crisis or something.
Waves. It's, wow. Brankos just said Neil's having menopause. Wow, okay, Brankos.
He got me. That was pretty damn good. I walked right the hell into that
Brankos
one.
is lucky that he didn't say shit about me because
I walked right the hell into that one. It is what it is, man. There's zero question about it. Y'all heard it. I definitely set myself up for that. I can take it. It's fine. If you walk into a joke, you better be able to deal with it. And that was a freaking layup for him, and I let it happen. So we're live, baby. No, don't try to backtrack by telling me you love me, bro. It's what's up. I'm gonna whoop his ass in clutch putts tomorrow. That's what's up.
Yeah. If
That's
there's
what's
anything that Greg left everybody here, it is putting. So
You know what the best part is? I beat Greg once, and that was the last time we played. You're only as good as your last game.
right. I purposely never played him because the last thing I want to do as he's leaving is
Don't inflate his head.
just to embarrass him.
No,
So
he
I
was
didn't-
actually,
I
he's
just-
a good putter, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I also suck, but that's
Until I stepped
He'll
up.
beat his ass.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so oh man, we just got a good fill on Microsoft. So let's just go, man. Anybody want to go to the club or what?
Let's see.
It's dollar club time. It's $1.50 club time right now on this trade for Mr. Softy. Mullen Automotive. Here's a Benzinga.
You're done.
Let's just click on it. See what's happening with Mullen.
Over.
Mullen Automotive says assembling data received to date. Unlawful trading practices. Assembling data received to date. Oh, they're assembling. Okay, so they're going to figure out if there is going to is there a case against somebody here with Mullen unlawful trading practices? I mean,
Shorting stock
if
that
there's
sucks.
anything that's unlawful, is the fact that reverse split all the way up. So reverse split from 10 cents, reverse split to 180, get all the way back to 10 cents. Like, do you guys understand like what is happening here when this is happening? This is like 20 times, right? Then down another 20 times. And then up another 20 times, and then it's going to be down another. So can you be like minus 2,000% on investments, or is the most you can go to zero? Because like I don't know what's happening with Mullen. I don't like. Are people buying it when it's doing this? Like, who are the sellers? I don't understand.
I can tell you
who's
right
sitting
now,
on the bid when this is happening.
There cannot be a better short for hedge. Like
They should investigate
the
it.
funds that have been shorting this. That is their that's careers have gotten made off that. Like I can't even think about how much money people have been making because I've never seen anything like that. I've never seen a short that just works and they reverse split it, then it just keeps working. Like what in the actual heck? Like how unvaluable is that even a word?
No, but
like how worthless can the shares become that people are still leaning on it? It's insane. Like you'd think they'd just be all over themselves taking profits at this point for it to get back down to 10 cents a third time, which is nuts.
It's just.
But but again, the company itself, like there's nothing, like what is it even
People
worth?
like to take shots with stocks, and unfortunately, it's just that's just an example of whenever you reverse split. I mean,
Have an out.
I don't want to say. I mean, AMC's about to do it, right? So, I mean, we
Yuck.
could show you a lot of charts where stuff like that. There we go. Here's what Havana Woody. I know Havana Woody knows all about this because he was on TTOO. One share of Mullen is IPO value 4,500.
Is that?
Just because of the way it's split so many times.
I believe you. I don't know the actual. Is that the actual number? I believe you.
I'll find it right
45.
now.
No, I believe that makes sense.
No, of course it makes sense. It's probably even higher than that. Here's Mullen right now. Here's eSignal because they'll actually show you. Our charts just don't do it. So here we go. And we're going to prove Havana Woody right. Well, first of all.
No, that can't be right.
Okay, well, Mullen not around. Was Mullen around in 2012?
Mother of God. Are you?
Because that would be 260,000.
Oh my
Is that the right? Am I looking? Yes.
You've got to be kidding me.
Wow.
What an
Okay, so here's
absolute
Mullen.
deficit.
So he must be using this as it right here, 2014. No, wait a minute, that's 50,000. I don't know enough about this to be talking about this right now because that doesn't look right to me. But just on a Mullen daily chart, even if we just go back to where it was.
How are you even still short? It's just like you've made your money. Like just to stop leaning.
No,
on.
but I don't know who's on the bid. This is my problem.
I got a pretty good idea.
So
who's
like
on the bid.
this goes back to November of 2021. You're telling me that this stock went to $3,200? It didn't. This is split adjusted, of course. But $3,200 to be worth right now 44 cents? It's kind of just like, here's all the splits here. Yeah, split there, 1 to 25. The high was 177. Okay, so anyways, all the splits are just happening now. So it actually, did get destroyed.
The worst stock of all time.
Anyways, yeah, it could be the worst stock of all time. Yeah, yeah. Well, it's not zero yet. So if you did have this in your account, you do have like 5 cents now or something.
Yes.
There are stocks, obviously Enron and so on and so forth, Nortel, that actually went to zero.
Yeah. Oh man, you got to say.
No, I'm just thinking about names that went to zero. Like Bed Bath & Beyond is still around.
Wait, why do you say Nortel?
Well, we always talk about Nortel.
I know. My pops worked at Nortel.
Yeah, but I mean, he didn't get out at zero. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe he did. You tell me. I don't
No,
know. I don't know. But that's a tough one because, no,
All I will say
a
is
lot of
this.
compensation is stock-based. And I know that there's a lot of people that got smoked on a lot of different
It is.
companies.
And I don't want to get into too many details, but I can tell you that
It's a joke.
one of the things when I always say like you can't go broke taking profits, and you see me having targets and taking it out, I feel like that's something that I learned from my pops because he was, and like not to call him, he's not watching this, and I don't know if he'd even care if I said this, but he was the kind of person when he got his options, like he was consistently making sure that he banked with them and putting it into something else and not having all your eggs in one basket because that is a very dangerous thing to do. And then when the rug gets pulled, he can never say that he did the best that you could have.
Of course not.
And probably not even close to it.
That's the thing about
However, he's
trading.
not holding the bag at the end. And that's something I learned from my dad. And it probably has something to do with the way that I think about gains. But there was a question about Plug, and I didn't answer it. What do I think about Plug? It doesn't look great here. This is really not looking good. However, let me just double check. What is the short float on Plug?
Wasn't that what
Because
wasn't that what Sharif was in?
I don't think but he got out of it.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. But
Wow,
he liked
good
it for some reason.
Yeah, good luck. I know Sharif got out of this. Great luck to get out. 21% short float, and it's kind of making a small consolidation at the bottom. $7 at the bottom here. They've already reported, so that catalyst is come and gone. But it's starting to stabilize. Usually after they report and get huadunked, you're looking for a bid. Like, where is it going to stabilize? It tried doing so right away at 860. It's since broken that down, but maybe it gets down to that fresh 52-week low and makes a bounce. 21% short float. The longer it bases out, at some point you get like a mini squeeze where shorts take profit. Something along those lines is what you're looking for. I saw someone in the chat say Nortel and Bre-X. My senior accounting project when I was in high school was on Bre-X. Sniff that one out. Would have been an A+ if I did.
Bre-X is another one.
That was, yeah, Bre-X might have been statistically one of the worst. I don't know how bad WorldCom, I don't know. Maybe Enron.
There was
Enron was really bad.
there was something called Lucent Technologies.
Yeah,
was
there's a
another
lot of
one.
them. I mean, Mullen's unique in the reverse split thing, but I'm sure there's other names percentage-wise that are just.
I mean, that just came up because I read that stupid story that might have nothing to do with anything, but it was just
Unbelievable.
like, yeah, you look at those shares and you wonder as a shareholder, like, what to do next. That's why I feel that there's a lot of people watching our show. So
Yeah, and someone just asked, what's the short float on NVIDIA? The thing about big tech names
Irrelevant.
is it's never big. Like it's just you'll never actually have a large short float.
what is it? 1%?
Yeah, 1%. Like it's just the company is so large. I mean, very rarely. I mean, like, you'll have more sophisticated ways than just sort of shorting the shares, right? Like I mean, nobody's just plopping and piling into like the equity short of Tesla back in the day. It was all through options and they had a gamma squeeze. I think what NVIDIA is doing looks like NVIDIA to me right now, and a lot of people have said this, and we probably said this a million times when it started breaking through 300. This looks exactly like Tesla on the first march to 1,000. Like the way that it's moving up, the way that dips get bought, the way that ridiculous pullbacks get bought right up is pretty much exactly what was happening when Tesla was gamma squeezing to 1,000 the first time. NVIDIA feels almost the same thing. That doesn't mean it has to go up, but a lot of the same things are happening. Oracle, I'm going to give it a chance off VWAP here, but the market's holding 15.2. I want to trail it back to this level. That's at 18, like 118.20. I'll probably give it to the quarters. If it can hold on to that and roll back over, I think it'll maintain a good short. Marvell, I'm actually thinking I want to short the next pop because it broke VWAP. I did take some out there on the break of VWAP, but it's still looking relatively weak. And if risk comes off on NVIDIA, I think this sells off as well. But the NASDAQ is bouncing. That means there's some strength out there. Off that 15.2. The first place I'm checking is Google. That's not a VWAP. That's not available. Definitely like that off VWAP. Apple is at 181. Be a lot nicer if it was down to VWAP. But 180.60, that's not bad. So this has some support in the afternoon. 180.60. That if we're going to hold 15.2, that can be a nice scalp level on Apple.
Okay. I saw some people talk about it in the chat, and they're like, some people saying, like, I don't want to use the word, but only not smart people would short NVIDIA. But then they sort of said about for the long term, and I think that's right. I think that you want to, I could see you being right, shorting it, ahead of this number coming tonight. Just because the only problem with shorting it is I do think it's better to play it in the options right now, because at least then if you put $1,000, like if you got, a 450 put or something like that, in, then I wonder about, maximum amount you're going to lose $1,000, and if you took Fridays and you at least have 2 days to watch it happen, it's just that if you shorted it, the actual equity itself, I mean, how many shares would you be able to get? It's a $500 name, so how much are you trying to risk here? And then even if you put in like 50 grand or something like that and was able to get 50,500, 10 shares, no, that would be 5,000, 100 shares, then you're just better off playing that in the option game. You did 100 shares with the one contract anyways, and then at least if it breaks up to $500, you're not losing, you short now 100 shares up to $500. I guess it's not that bad. You're losing $30 per share, so it's not, it's a little dangerous there. You could wind up losing a lot more, and then does it stop at 500? Who knows? So there's sort of unlimited losses there expected whenever you short a stock, right? So that's the one thing that you have to understand when you're going to be shorting NVIDIA. I believe all the play, and it's not just me, this is obvious, like Neil just said there, when people asked about the short flow.
It's never that.
You're just going to have to watch out for the options. But the implied move was 10%. So whether or not you go up 10% or down 10%, that's what the options are implying right now. So up 10% from here, give $46 onto 470. So you're already at 510. And plus 520, keep on going. A little bit of slippage back and forth there. And if it goes to the downside, then yeah, you are looking again. Why does this always happen? 10% down from here is 420. Again, like what's up with this number?
The market knows.
Yeah, the market knows. And that would be right where the 50-period moving average is. So join me tonight when we will be talking all about NVIDIA earnings. We're going to have Chris Brecher on, who's going to talk about his experiences. He's been trading NVIDIA. I've been talking with him in the afternoon here. He's been trading NVIDIA today. He's got some options plays on it. So obviously, when he comes on at about 4:15, the report may or may not be out yet, so it'll be interesting to get that live as it does come out. So, yeah, we're ready. So it's Brecher, so that's great. Chris Brecher going to come on and talk all about his trading experiences and give us a little bit of insight there, not only just with options trading, but his experience being in the pit and so on and so forth. So that should be a good show today.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun.
And if you're wondering, like, what could it look like if NVIDIA were to pull back, you have a perfect example for it, SMCI. Supermicro did a very similar move. I don't want to say the same move, but a very similar move in this last year as NVIDIA, just as parabolic, in some ways even better. I have this drawn at 220 for obvious reasons. Things really, if you think about when it first exploded, the last consolidation was at 220. It just feels like if this gets down there might be some buyers. But when it got to 360 and reported, it dropped 50% and just bounced. Not 50%. They bought 33%. It's a huge move up. It gave up, if you look at where it broke out from 120, I'm kind of pegging to that price, but you go 120, 360, back into 240. If NVIDIA were to make the same kind of move and 480 is the high, it goes back to $320. in a move off of earnings. That's what SMCI did. So that is something that is in play for NVIDIA. There's absolutely no question about it. Definitely a possibility. The market is wanting to come back in here. I mean, Apple may be available. I don't like it at this price. I want it just a little bit lower. I don't know if Apple's going to be the one here if we can grab it. No small caps I'm seeing them moving. Let me know if you see anything. I know, oddly enough, Mullen's actually moving. We were just like, it's hilarious. This is the biggest volume spike on Mullen all day. Like right now, we were just trash talking the stock, and now it is up. It is green. It just moved 15% to the upside. I didn't pay for locates today, which is usually the first thing on my mind, but maybe this wants to go. I would have thought it could come back in, and the way I would have thought about it is like 30 cents, 20 cents. That's where the bounce I would have played off of. It actually gets to 38.40 here, and now it's already going. Maybe 50 is a break. I don't even see, there's no size on the offer. Like nothing out there. It's done 65 million. When this was sick, it was doing like, it did like 2 billion one day. So it's not even that much volume on Mullen as we speak. But yeah, it's starting to go. Good for you on Mullen. I don't think I'm looking for the long. As a matter of fact, if it reverses off 50 or reverses off 60, that would be a nice little scalp play there.
Just reading some stuff here from Dan. So I don't trade options too much, right? Because like I'm doing this all day, so it's like to sit there and try to scalp options or trade them or whatever. I don't. I only own NVIDIA. I'm not trading it. I'm just trading it on the show. I'm not trading in my own accounts. But are you not afraid when buying options, some big guys are going for either the high or low end, where the highest open interest lies during the aftermarket? Well, options you're not going to be able to trade in the aftermarket, so that's the first part about that. And the second part is I don't really understand the question, but you can go over to options. I mean, I'm going to go find, we don't have a deal with anybody to show options chains or anything like that, so I'm going to have to go find one out there to find out where the highest open interest is. But I feel like for now, if you wanted to look at open interest, you could definitely go find that. We did have Options AI, which was giving us Options AI. They're not.
If you have an account, or you can.
Yeah, no, you can. No, it gives it to you for free without an account. It's just a matter of finding it. So you go into Options AI right here, and then you don't go here. You go explore Options AI, I believe. Anyways, where is it? I'll have to find it for you, but it's in here somewhere. The orbit. I don't know where it is. I'll have to find it, but there is an implied move on here. And anyways, I'll find it for you guys at some point. But you can find the implied move with NVIDIA, and then I think NVIDIA, and that would be the best way to find anything out about options and where they're going with the open interest and stuff like that. So I'll go back and find that. Just distracted a little bit here as we wait to see what Softy's doing.
Market just popped.
Yeah, market's popping up here. So I'm trying to look for some other areas to possibly short as we're just around VWAP right now. See, like I missed that right there. I was debating the 50 period on Microsoft there and missed it. So, all right, that's another play right there that we just did not take. But Microsoft looking pretty juicy here as a short as that just continues to come in now. I feel like the short's going to be a good play heading into the close. So that's what I'm doing now and drinking tea.
I am now reloaded into Marvell. It was a bit of a spike, though. So it did this spike in here, got to the lower high. At this point, I don't think I wanted it. I don't want this getting to the high of the day. You know, it's stair-stepping to the downside. It just bounced off VWAP. So were it to take out this lower high here where I had the last entry, I'd just get it out. Like, not even give it the extra 10, 15 cents. That would be a little bit bullish there, especially going into the earnings. Ian Rispetto, best predictions for NVIDIA and Snow earnings today. I wish I could tell you I had a crystal ball. They like Snowflake, it's so expensive. They're not even profitable here. So it's a really tricky one, but it's very well loved. So there's just a lot of like institutional love for this name. Again, not, like I said, not profitable. If you think about where this is coming from, Snowflake's not, like NVIDIA is off these crazy highs. So like the slightest problem and NVIDIA could tank 20%. But Snowflake, on the other hand, if you look at where this is, I mean, if they come out and sort of blow things out of the water, I would almost feel like the risk is in the other way with Snowflake. Like you're just regaining the 200 period now when everything else has been booming. Like this one's got some serious upside pep. All that said, they often get compared to Palantir, and Palantir just flushed. But it's a very different story. Palantir was breaking out. And that's why it probably had to make a pullback in there. So I tend to think Snowflake, you know, I think it's got more room to the upside than it does to the down off the report. I don't know enough about the company to make a prediction in that regard, but I would say it seems like it's got a little bit more room to the upside. Brendo?
I will just read this. This is an open letter to Mullen shareholders addressing their declining stock values. Assembling data, so this is from the company, they're assembling data received to date on unlawful trading practices in the company's stock and should have something to announce in the coming days for this one, MULN.
Like, did I literally drop this news in front of everybody? Like, just randomly, and we started talking about how crappy Mullen was, and then all of a sudden it goes up 50%? Like, that was just a random thing that I saw there, and then all of a sudden bumping back up the upside. Brendan just gave you the news right there, so take a look and see what Mullen is doing right now, trying to get back up to 70 cents and ripping right now. So I'd feel a little silly shorting this because I was just...
You're not getting to a dollar.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's going to get to a dollar, but yeah. Wow, Mullen. What say you, Mullen?
On the off chance it does, though, it's I expected. We're paying 1/8 of 1 cent a share. That's what it cost us for locates at day trade. 1/8 of 1 cent per share is what it costs. So I'm like, I'm putting it in my back pocket. Like, I just paid for some shares for locates on the off chance we get to a buck. So I think that's about it. Like, I don't really know. Let me just go to the 15-minute. It blew the crap through that 60 level. I mean, 70 and a dollar, maybe 90. But if it gets to 90, you saw what happened because it gets to close like 10 days in a row above a dollar. Like, when it was doing that for the first 3 days, there was like buy manipulation happening at the end of the day, like million share bids, stacking it up and following it up. If it gets above 90, I think you see that again. Like, if it gets above 90, you probably get it to that dollar. And as a matter of fact, now that I think about it, I don't think you want to short that buck. I think you almost want to look for that to happen. And if it does, just ride that wave into that buck. Like, almost in the last 30 minutes, if we're above 90 cents in the last 30 minutes and I see a big bid, I'm punching along in front of it and I'm just holding it till like 99 or $1 even into the close with a stop underneath that size. But that's if we get there. I'd probably short something, maybe the 80 level or the 70 level, just try to risk 1 cent and make something. Whoa, U.S. steel news. There has to be.
X news?
Oh, yeah, there's got to be news.
X going to give it to you?
Oh, there's got to be news there on
Yeah,
US Steel.
31.40.
That, something just happened on US Steel. I only know because I had orders out and a stop, and that just happened on US Steel. Oh, thank goodness. I just canceled that order and made it like 25% of the size. Oh.
It quad-tanked?
Well, it quad-tanked. Brendo, what's going on here?
Just saying a couple things, actually. Brazil's CSN not interested in U.S. Steel. Eyes on smaller targets. S-Mark Incorporated will not make a bid for the company either.
Okay, this is a short underneath 32.
Yeah, okay, so there it is right there. Nice little no bid there coming through. So U.S. Steel now coming down to 31.50 again, but it's still relatively high. I think if you're playing some sort of a takeout bid or anything, you don't have too much to worry about right now, but there it is. The highest we ever got was 32.41, so we'll have to watch to see this as news is popping out on U.S. Steel.
31.50 was local support. I think it's 31.50 to 31.75. That's about the area I'd play this. If it gets down, like, remember where this was before that bid? The strength was at 31. 31 was the strength before that, so that's probably where I think it could hold up there. It's always look to where it had support in the previous news cycle. So when you had the other bid, that was in here and it spiked to 32, but before that it was supporting $31. So if that's where the ARB liked to buy it before, now with those deals out, I think that's where they wanted to buy it off just CLF. So give it like that 31 area. I think it's a fade in front of that, so I'm going to go short. If we get it, that's a big if, obviously. S-Mark, there with a 35 cash bid.
Right.
So that leaves Cleveland Cliff. And then ArcelorMittal apparently might have been the first people interested in. I read one article that said that was true, so there's still technically going to be two people involved. One is ArcelorMittal, and the other, of course, is Cleveland Cliffs. Just checking back on NVIDIA, 670, 470 still in play. I just reloaded Marvell, and if I'm short Marvell, I can't say this enough. If NVIDIA breaks the top and starts going parabolic, I probably want to be out of it regardless of what's happening. Like, it could not run my stop, and NVIDIA goes ham, and I still want to be out. So just keeping that in mind, but it's probably going to run my stop as NVIDIA is going higher. So Marvell making a bit of a push to the upside as NVIDIA once again is going higher. This stock is relentless, NVIDIA. I still think it's probably some risk is going to come off the table at the end of the day, but it's
yeah.
not really showing any signs of it just yet. Like right back up to 470.
I just took more Microsoft here at 66 ahead of that 80, but it looks like it's going to break right now. This is, again, the whole NASDAQ could scream here into the close because of NVIDIA and people just trying to get some love back in on that name and make sure that they are not caught short during this.
Oracle just popped too.
Oracle's popping? Like, what the hell? Everything's popping?
I am now not
470.
even.
I guess AMD's, I mean, sorry, I guess NVIDIA's not really popping per se. But that's a nice move, though, from, well, I mean, $2 now seems like it's a pretty decent pop move as we go. Okay, so we just talked about reloading Microsoft. We're actually still in the money on Microsoft here, but you know it's getting worse and worse for us as we just reloaded it right here, right now. So again, you can still see our average price is 327.80. That's basically where we're going to get stopped out of this last piece right now. If it does go back up to the upside, that's the 200 period moving average, and we just saw it right there hit again. Actually, it should be a little bit higher than that. Where's my stop? Yeah, okay, it's a little bit higher, so it's right into your maybe 85s or so. Let me show you right there. So we're up here now. We went up here last time and then it faded out. So that right there, we're going to take this into the short. Hopefully we can get that back in at least to right here. I don't know. That was a keystroke error going a little bit short there. That's probably supposed to be a bid, but it doesn't matter. It's a little piece. So we'll see if we can get back in here, 327.40s or so. This one's not going to work. I mean, here it goes. It's trying to take out this top again. There it goes. We actually got stopped out there. So the NASDAQ starting to go higher now, taking out some levels. So whatever. We'll flush ourselves down for the last bit, but we're not. This trade was not a flush down. That was actually just a flat. So we did give back a little bit of the profit that we had made on Microsoft. Now we can say forget about shorting anything now as it's starting to rip back up to the upside. We did have about $1 in the money on AMD, which we wound up taking it. Now it's come all the way back for us right now. AMD again, you know, how many bottoms do you see before this happens? So there it is right now. Now a nice little upside move. Now coming right back in. My stop for AMD on this trade was 109.36. So you're getting close to that right now. That's basically that high. Oh, if it wasn't NVIDIA day, I'd put more on right now. I mean, it's a nice move back up to the upside, but if I put more on, then maybe I am you know. So we're going to wait to see on that one and just get out if it takes it up to the upside there. Everything's fine. We don't have many shares on anything right now. So our biggest trade was Microsoft on the reload right there, and then that just came out, right? So now we can wait for higher on Microsoft if it gets back to all the 329 where we were short initially up there. I don't know if that's going to come through or not. But we tried the short right there at the 50 period, and it no work out. So now that's going all the way to the upside right here. So we're going to have to watch out for that. A reload position that I'd love to get on would be Google, but we're $1 in the money on this one. And I tweeted this out as well. Look, we were long early, and then it was like, okay, we're reloaded right there at VWAP. I mean, these are the easy trades. Those are the ones that you want to wait for, right? Stocks that you know are strong, that you've already hit once, and get an opportunity to do it again. So we didn't get 20s. Sorry, we didn't get flats. We got 20s. So that's why. Nicely done to the upside. We'll see if it can make new highs again at 133.20. Let's just put an offer there. If it takes it out, it takes it out. Actually, it's only 307. There's still a lot of time left here. Maybe we just go long on NVIDIA and just wait to see what happens.
Both my shorts came out. Obviously, Oracle. I mean, the market made a slight bounce. I'll get to U.S. Steel in a second, but I got to show you Oracle trailing out there. There was this bounce. Why am I long U.S. Steel? Oh, wait. One too many bids. I'll get to that in a second. We just scalped 80s to 65s on U.S. Steel. But I got trailed out of Oracle right back here at 118.25. So there was a big volume spike. That got me out of the short. And then U.S. Steel went up right into 38, 31.80, kind of curled back in there and then supported the bid at 31.60. But then if you think about this, I'm thinking about this a little bit differently now. Because like they're respecting the position of the Steelworkers Union, which, by the way, they support the Cleveland-Cliff deal. So if there's a chance, and I'm just out of the top of my head thinking about this for a second. If there's an issue with this from a regulatory standpoint that would hold up the deal, the union being behind it actually might give it a better chance to clear, because I feel like the administration might like that deep down. So if you work that back around, it almost feels like there'd be less regulatory hurdles for the Cleveland-Cliff deal because the union is behind it. Now, that's just the top of my head, so I'm not sure this is, and of course, as I say that, U.S. Steel is tanking, but that's the reason I got out of that short. It actually doesn't seem to me like that's necessarily as bad a thing as possible if the U.S. Steel deal now is even better. Wow. Seriously, Mullen? What in the actual?
Still going?
I don't look. What the hell is? Oh, you got to be kidding me, man!
Wait.
Like you could have just punched long at like I don't know, whatever.
When we called it up, it was 67. What's it at now?
It hit 72. No, but before it was at like 40. No, it was underneath 50 cents when we first talked.
Oh yeah, it
about
was 46 cents.
No, but it was at 44 when it first went, and then after it was mentioned, it was then breaking 50. You actually could have had a 50 break here. This is freaking ridiculous. I cannot even think. U.S. Steel's at 31.30, and I took it out at 65. Wow, that short was pretty good. But as I was thinking it through my head, when I looked at that, my first thought was, wait a minute, if the Cliff deal maybe might have less issues with regulatory, then maybe the bid's higher than 31 in terms of where I thought support would be. So I thought maybe it would be at 31.5. I was wrong about that. If you held your short, congratulations to you. I'm still trying to process Mullen right now because I feel as if there's a big trading opportunity here this afternoon. And it's almost like this has to be faded. This is ridiculous. And when something is ridiculous and you can risk, if I can find a 1 cent risk, I'll try to take it. But it has to be 1 or 2 cents. I'm not trying to hold something 5 or 10 cents against me. I need to see it set up for like 1 cent worth of risk. And it's trying to show that here at that 70 level. You have a 72.5 top. If it fails, if it breaks 70 again and fails, I'm thinking break this 70, short in here, give to high of the day, and if you get run over, you lost 1.5 cents. But if it pulls back, pull back 10% pretty darn easily. That's the look I'm going for. I'm going to have a stop before I even get in because I would not want to get caught flat-footed here on MULN, which is going absolutely ham. That volume's already over 100 million. It was 60 million like 10 minutes ago. Now it's 100 million, and it's probably going to close at like 200 million.
I feel like that's the problem when you step in front of big retail names like that. I mean, you never know how many shares it's going to do, you know, where it could possibly go to, and what is going on with that. What's up with that? That's one of my favorite Saturday Night Live skits called "What's Up with That." Okay, so 327.
That's a wrestling guy.
Yeah.
As a wrestler says that.
What's up with that? Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, with a high-pitched voice.
Yeah, I forget who it is. Okay, so just real quickly here, we just got back in to Microsoft, but just right here at 75s basically. I thought that honestly that this 328, let's just see if it holds it, man. It's only 25 cents worth of risk for a lot more downside here, but it did hold it the last time. And then now the NASDAQ kind of wants to do whatever it wants to do. There was a report here, which is why I went short initially there on Microsoft, or adding to it, was I saw something here that there was a Japan government tells Okinawa residents to take cover indoors, and then right below it was North Korea appears to have fired missiles.
That doesn't seem
so that doesn't sound good, but obviously the market's sort of brushing that off. So North Korea always does testing and stuff like that. So I mean, the NASDAQ is like, if there was anything serious, then we would have had a serious move down. This would not be like
it would be flushing.
Anything. I remember when it was Russia and Ukraine, and there's some news on that today as well. That sent the markets, you know, reeling or at least moving. Now they're not moving at all. What's up, Brendan?
They just cleared that. I just wanted to make that clear, guys. So that whatever that was has passed.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing is like we say a sports analogy, like ball don't lie. Well, I mean the market. Although some of us think
doesn't lie.
Market rigged, but ball don't lie. And if the market started to tank there, then you would have heard much more importance. It's like that fake report. We'll never forget that about the White House. You know, you could do it, Neil, if you want.
No, I wasn't.
Okay, I'll do it.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll do it this time. All right. Trade real money, gain real experience. It is time for you to sign up for the campus model that we have here at Day Trade the World. It's just campus.daytradetheworld.com. We talked about this over and over again. We got a lot of interest when we did this morning, so we're going to do it again. And the reason is that you only have till September 5th to make sure you get your application in right now, immediately, if you wanted to do basically trying to do funded trader without having to put up any capital yourself. That's the whole idea behind this thing. We're a prop trading firm, and this is like a university, right? This is what we're talking about. Come in, learn everything you need to learn with zero cost to yourself. It's free 99 right here. Free to join. All you need is your time and your effort. So learn on our platform, learn what we're doing, use our stop keys, everything like that, and then get funded straight up. So if you can pass all these goals, you'll go live trading. Live trading means funded trading. So we'll wait to see if that can come through for you, but make sure you do it before September 5th. And the question does remain, do you have what it takes. And if you do, then sign up, or if you think you do, why not? Any better chance to exactly try that out live with Day Trade the World. So give that a shot. I think it's a great program, obviously, and you know, absolutely nothing to lose. And even, I don't even like that. The only thing that it'll cost you is your time. I mean, honestly, if you're gonna learn a trade of any kind, shout out to Chef Joe that's in the chat. It doesn't matter if you're using your hands, you're an electrician, whatever, man, auto mechanic, whatever.
But you got to pay for them.
That's what I'm saying. That's what it's all about. You got to put in the work. You got to put in the time. You're not just gonna work on a Ferrari until you worked on a Pinto. Maybe that's a bad example.
How many people, if you could learn a trade, and all you had to do was like someone was going to teach me to fix cars, and all I had to do was
show up.
Just show up.
I mean, that is apprenticeships. But.
No, they exist, but those are. It's not an easy thing to come by, and it's always a valuable skill as long as you have a passion for it. And P.S.
I mean, most places
you have
will
what it
charge
takes: a passion for trading and a willingness to learn. That's what it takes. So pretty much everyone in here has that, and it's still it's still not in the U.S. I know we get a lot of questions about that. It's still not available in the United States, guys. And I wish it wasn't true. I know a lot of you are from in the U.S., but unfortunately, it is not. A lot is happening. I'm keeping an eye on Mullen. It might have already pulled back. That 70 up-down idea, that might have already come and gone because it just pulled back to 65. But US Steel, I'm going to go back to this 31 level and just show you again, the Esmark offer was here on this day, and then you got the spike to the upside. Support was at 31. It just bounced off 31 even. That was a dark pool print. I saw the best bid is 4. I jumped in here at 15. I tried to add to it. Got some out at 28. Got some out at 38. It's now at 43. I think I take it all out in front of 31.50. Maybe just go back to the well of thinking 31.50 to 31.75 is resistance. So playing that bounce long off of 31 if we get it again, and then back into this level, which I'm going to draw lines for myself, although visually I guess it helps everybody. So on that same Esmark day, support was at 31.50. So if they're gone, then to me, like this is the range, and then play it in here. Shorts above, there's still 2 people bidding. And I know I said this morning, and I said it every single day. Generally speaking, don't like to short when there's a bidding war going on, because you're basically one headline away from gapping up. Usually there's a bid underneath most of these things, especially when there's 2 companies willing to buy it. It's just a little bit easier to find a bid if it falls than if it starts going parabolic to the upside, because it's trading obviously underneath the bid price. Daniel asking when Nike is reporting their earnings. I'll look it up for you because I did not check this one on Nike. We were talking about the $100 level. Why is this so? My trade ideas. I think my internet is having.
We were having internet problems earlier.
Wow, my internet's a little bit slow, guys, but it's loading. Oh, it's gonna get there. There it goes.
I got it.
Yeah, September 28th.
She's a late one.
That's super late. September 28th.
Come on, Nike.
Yeah, we have a long time to wait for Nike, but it is trying to get back to $100. That's a good sign, because obviously you know what's been going on with retail. They're getting there. Everyone's getting handed to it, but they're bouncing off some levels here back from December of 2022. That is a legit like $100 support level. It kind of wicked underneath it, but 100 support level. If it gets back above that, I think maybe get a bit of relief rally. There's plenty of time till they have to drop their earnings at least.
All right. I just put in the chat, like, Microsoft FYI is not working. So if anybody's in this, you can get out right now. I mean, it's flat. We're literally at 75. It's at 75. If you're going to see the chart here, it just keeps on bouncing. Like, it got as low as 70 10 times since we've been in this short. Like, literally every minute it comes down and bounces and then gets right back up here to almost stopping me out, and then comes right back in again. So I feel like the risk to reward is fine here, but we're not at a good price. So, and I don't really want to add to it. So we're stuck. We're stuck with Microsoft here. I just want to point that out. Might be worth trying to get something out here before it breaks higher. This is only going to be a small hit for me, so up to you guys, but it's not working, that's all. And the market feels like it wants long again here, because we're above the 50-period moving average. We're trying to go. I mean, you're not too far away from a day's high break again. So obviously if we break the day's high, Microsoft will come out. That's fine. But most of the time when the market hangs up here like this, it wants to test it one more time before it fails. It just keeps on bouncing now. Like, why wouldn't it already be down here if it wanted to go? It's 320. We're not really waiting. Everyone knows what we're waiting for. We're waiting for earnings.
NVIDIA.
So
I got to make a correction, just because we strive to get everything right. Yeah. And so I obviously just check trade ideas and I saw earnings for Nike. You can see it right there. It's hard to read, but it says September 28th post-market. I went to NASDAQ. It says October 5th. I saw someone in the chat just say October 8th. So suffice to say, 3 sources and 3 different dates for Nike earnings. And
That's impossible.
No, but I mean, look, this is what it says. Like, literally NASDAQ.com, and they have the 5th. So I don't.
No,
I just want to make sure. Yeah, I just obviously.
Like a major company?
Obviously, all I'm going to do is look it up. I'm not a repository on it, so if somebody knows better than I do, if you're a shareholder, you probably have a decent idea. I'm not a Nike shareholder. Brendo?
That typically means that they may have not actually announced. I see 27th, September 27th.
You know what would be nice? If they haven't officially announced it, then why do these sources even bother putting up? Then why even put on a date? Like, if you're at NASDAQ.com, or they just don't put anything, just say, don't know. Usually around whatever. Like, that's so
What's up to GE now says Nike has, TradingView has it on the 26th. Like, what? Like, we have one the 27th, one the 28th, one the 26th.
This is the best one. They're reporting on the 20th of April. So 420, baby.
I actually know exactly when they're going to report. Late September.
Boom.
Possibly early October.
Will they report before or after Sean's birthday?
I'm breaking the news down for
you're saying after. You're saying after.
Well, yeah. I mean, nothing's been reported before.
Also, Mike's.
Yep, exactly. All right, just real quick right now, I'm going to take out just a little piece now. So we got out of a quarter of Microsoft for flat. I mean, it came right back into 75. You guys all saw me. We were short 75s. We talked about that. I was nervous. I was like, why even take the risk up here? If I was really thinking the market was going to come up, then why am I even sitting in this? But hells to the yeah. Here we go, man. Now we're starting to take some profits right now. Let's put a bid in the 50s. There it is. There it is. So that's 1-to-1. Money. And we have more than half on board right now. So we just take out a little small piece right here. Let's see where's the target for Microsoft. We thought lower. I mean, I'm glad to put this winning trade on here. We're just going to make back what we lost here, which was relatively nothing. We're making back that right now. That bottom right here is 30s. So let's put something in the mid 40s or so here, just to put a little taste. And then if it comes into the 30s where we've seen before, we'll take the rest out. Not the rest out, but we'll take another 20% or so out if it can come down to that spot. We are only going to try to get 10% out here in the mid 40s, and then I'll take 20% out if it comes back into this level again. And then we'll see if it can sort of get down to the downside there, and there it is. Yes, sir. Every time I see a tick on here, it's great. And then we'll see today anyways. And then we'll see it right there if it can come into 327. That VWAP level is basically 327.15, almost 327 flat. I don't think, is it going to go red? You know, there's no need for that. The market would have to really, really get down, and here it is right now. Wow, okay, that's a nice trade for us. Wow, okay. There it is, man. Now you're at officially 2-to-1, almost 2-to-1. I shouldn't say officially. It just went down there, which gave us 2-to-1 into the 30s. Wow, you know we were bidding 32s. I thought we got that, Phil. Where did that go? That went to 34s. Okay, well, it doesn't matter. Hopefully we'll get it anyways. We're on the NASDAQ gateway here. So whenever I'm trading NASDAQ stocks, I'll try to use the NASDAQ gateway. Most of the time I'll use an NYSE gateway on New York stocks. That's just preference. That has nothing really to do with anything. If your stock is going to run you over, you're going to get filled no matter what. So the only trick about using different gateways is when you're maybe on a Palantir or something like that where you can't get filled here, and you may want to use a gateway that you have to pay for, which will give you the fill earlier. We did have a question about that?
No, I was going to say there's a key that's really good for routing. We have a Day Trade the World that I just started using because Greg told me to, but I just started like last week.
What was it?
Mullen, it's called Frex.
Oh, I've been using that for years.
Okay.
It is the good fills.
I've been using Edge and NASDAQ scan, which I'm going to use right now.
So what Greg didn't tell you.
I use the NASDAQ scan key to get in and out. So like it's been my go-to, especially on a NASDAQ stock. It gets to like every single gateway. It gets to midpoints, all that good stuff, right? So I like a key like that because you're going to get your liquidity. I said I would take a shot at this one. I ended up using because I didn't get it the first time, I ended up using 20% of what I paid for the locates, because to me, the first time it goes here is the best time. And the second time, you can't like it as much. And if you don't like it as much, then you should either not take it or size it down or whatever it might be. But that first look off the failure above 70 is the pullback that gave you 10%. Now I just wait around for $1 or 90 cents on this thing. If it gets above 90, I'm pretty sure those buyers that were there before are going to step back up again. But what's the deal with Frex? Should I not be using it?
Yeah, so it doesn't work pre and post markets. That's all.
Oh, well, he didn't.
That, of course he didn't. I'm the one that told Greg about that key. So just be careful about
That's
it.
a very important piece of information. I changed one of my punch keys to that's kind of funny.
Best manager ever.
No, but that said, like for my pre-market, I've always used.
Yeah. Just be careful with it. That's
If
all.
you trade and day trade the world, the primary gateway is always the safest thing to use, pre-market, and when stocks open up for the first time. I can't say this enough. If you're trading like an IPO, and you use the primary gateway, because every once in a while, if a stock has never traded before, in like the first 10, 15 seconds, I've seen where gateways are not active until a few seconds after it opens. I've seen traders like, I can't punch out. Just use the primary gateway. If it comes out on the NASDAQ, use that. If it comes out on the well, I mean, it's not ARCA anymore for New York, but wow. Mullen keeps going. This is why you got to have an out. If it gets to 90 and those buyers show up, they're going to try and close this above $1. Unquestioned, it has to go 10 days in a row, closing above $1. If it gets to 90 cents and that $1 million buyer shows up, I think it's almost free money to try for the long. I don't want to short any other level till it gets to 90 cents or $1. Those are the only two, and that $1 almost feels like a bit of a trap. So Mullen to the upside. I did take the 1.8 cent hit on it. I do think it was worth it, but the first time is always the best time. When you're trading off a level like this parabolic, you want it parabolic into that level the first time, because that's when there's more likely to be profit taking. When it gets there the second time, it's almost a little bit more bullish. And this is now absolutely flying. Where do you find out where the primary gateway is? Oh, that's as simple as use NASDAQ on NASDAQ.
Yeah.
Use an NYSE routing gateway on the NYSE, and on the Amex, use ARCA. Like it's literally that. I don't know if you find that anywhere. It's just kind of like intuitive. Like NASDAQ is NASDAQ, and
I mean, I think there's websites that actually show you, like you used to be able to go to batchtrading.com, which was a website that would show you like where the liquid trades are and what you can do it on. That key that you're talking about, I was just joking about it with Greg. It was one that it was the cheapest one, and then it was also routing. So that's why he and I used to use that.
Good routing.
And he must have just not. Maybe he didn't know it didn't print in the.
He doesn't trade pre-markets.
How I know is because I've been sitting here in the pre-market with you guys and then trying to punch out, and then if I use that key, I just know it doesn't work. So, anyways, that's good. You're only down 15% today on Tesla. What? How's that even possible?
15%.
Maybe on maybe options again. Yeah, I was gonna say because Tesla did not move. What's up to Jane Finch? Jane, we have here in Toronto. Jane and Finch, you don't necessarily want to be there, but what's up to Finch Jane right now? What's up to Adam DeLuz? Am I excited? Yeah, man, I'm excited for 420, always. Today, of course. Excited for 420 for NVIDIA. The thing is, though, can someone confirm, I know we've already talked about the 420 time, it's just, it can come out at any time. And I don't know the last couple.
Earnings Whisperer, I think we
can find out where they came out last time. But sometimes we get those reports, you don't really hear too much about it. So we'll wait to see about that. Yeah, and your long-term account. Oh, okay. Look, I don't think, honestly, being down 15% on Tesla, this name will do lots of different things. So I wouldn't worry about it. It was up 400% in the year of 2020, I believe, or 2021. You just got to believe in the name and what it's doing. I'm buying Tesla on dips. This is the NASDAQ. I'm buying Tesla on dips as we go. So, any kind of love down here. I mean, I'm really waiting for 210. I just think today's going to tell us a lot. If NVIDIA fails a little bit, you could come back down. The funny thing is, you know what's going to happen, man? I bet you, kind of like what Neil said there, wouldn't it be funny if it just kind of barcodes? What if it comes out 11 billion as expected? What if they sort of talk the talk and everyone's expecting, okay, we have enough orders, we're still expecting a reasonable growth rate and all this kind of stuff. It could be enough. I don't think it's going to be a nothing burger on the report, that's for sure. But I could see tomorrow kind of back and forth.
It's possible.
We had Netflix dump like $50, and then that day it kind of just had like a $5 range. So we'll see what happens tomorrow.
Remember Amazon the last couple times? Every time Amazon has had a wild aftermarket, the next day it just sits for the first 2 hours, it just sits there in the same range.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if NVIDIA did that, it wouldn't be crazy, man. But the market just pumped back to the upside. I'm back over to the name that wicked the top. So I got out of, remember I said I was not going to give Marvell on the reload to the actual high of the day. I'll give it to the local high, right? So limit the loss there, and then just sort of see what happens at the top. So when it got to the top, it did not break the top, then it consolidated. That gives me that setup. And again, if you're going to be going, to me, I always find if you're going to be going counter trend, I always start with how can I limit the loss? And the easiest way is to have a very tight stop and then have a patient entry. Meaning allowing it to break the high of the day, get underneath that break, and if you like it, instead of shorting it, like loading into it here, like taking this position, then add, instead of doing that, be willing to stop it out, wait for it to set up, and then get yourself a better price with a tighter stop. That way, if it works, you've limited the original loss. Because if you don't do it the other way, you're going to be max in with max against you when it breaks the top. And then suddenly you're taking a maximal loss there where it would have had to flush down to 60, 50, or something ridiculous would have to happen for you to win. Otherwise, you just take the nice little tight stop trade here where I'm risking 15 to 20 cents, and this can bounce off VWAP and still be a good trade. So I always find counter trend trading, it's available for you if you're willing to have some hard rules that you're going to follow, if you're going to be able to limit loss. All those types of things matter. I'm keeping the other reason why I'm kind of looking at this and getting into it is, remember NVIDIA 470? Well, NVIDIA turned off 470, and I'm darn sure I'm not there. So if it pulls back, I mean, why not just go over to something which I think can fall on sympathy? Again, if you miss this, go over to the other name, right? So I'm into Mullen or Marvell again, Mullen on my brain, because every time I look over, it's another 20 million shares, and it's still at the high of the day.
Congratulations!
Nimit, you were right, it was a long. However, I've always found, and what's interesting is when Nimit said that, I was kind of at the mind of it's not as good the second time as the first. However, I don't know that I'm ever taking Mullen long, breaking out 73 on that news when I fundamentally think it's headed down to 10 cents again. That's just not, it's not really my, if you could have the long at 50 or somewhere much, much lower, that's the 50 breakout, sure. The last time I was long Mullen, I think it was at 20 cents. And I remember that 20 level. It was just great support. You go long at 20 and a half, 20.2, and it was these good bounce trades. This is a very different Mullen right now. It's trying to make this weird push to $1, and I'm not necessarily a huge believer in it. The early look is 275 million to sell on the imbalances, so that's a nothing burger. However, I believe Kenvue and J&J, today is the Russell, so that means Kenvue is in addition to the Russell 1000 today, and J&J is coming out of the Russell 1000. Both of them, it's offsetting, so it's 4 million shares either way. So there's a decent chance you're going to see a big imbalance on J&J and Kenvue. Kenvue likely a buy, J&J likely a sell. Doesn't mean it has to be, just what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, exactly. Who wants to ride with me here on NVIDIA? Because what about just a day high break here? It's 470. I'm taking it. That's why I'm saying that. 470. I'm just looking up here. My e-signal chart. It looks like it's 470.65 or so here as the high of the day, 58.60, something like that.
It's not just even?
No. Yeah, definitely sure it's not evens.
Oh, never. My chart's messed up.
Yeah. So right into here. So here we go. There's 470.50. So it's right here, right now. So we're gonna try this, right? Let's just see if it goes. Again, not a huge position. I mean, it'll be a position, but not like what we had yesterday. And we're just going to wait to see if it does hit, right? And then we can give it a buck. We can give this a buck. So let's give this a buck. Back down here to 469.50, something like that. If it fails it out, let's go, man. We got a half hour for this name to actually start to do something. It's 333 right now. It's been wanting to go up, obviously. Let's see if there's some FOMO up in here. 470.50 right here. We'll see if traders want to buy this name ahead of earnings. Who knows, man? Could happen, and maybe it won't stop. So we're going to try it, 470.50 right now. I'm actually waiting for 470.65. There it is. We are now in it right now. So let's go. Let's see what happens right now. We are also, fix my mic. Oh, it's because it's tangle down here. All right, here we go. So we're in it right now. There goes NVIDIA to the high side. I did want to make sure that we got out of some Microsoft just in case, but here we go. We are in NVIDIA. I don't know where it's going to go, but let's take a piece out right now. Oh, we just tried there as I fixed my mic, as we basically had a nice little opportunity to get out, and there it is. We will start to ring the register right now. If you're rocking with me, there you go. How about that for an idea right now? A little bit in the money. I don't know if it's going to continue to go, but we'll take out 25% right there for a quick little scalp. I mean, some people wait, all day to get, one trade. Let's see if this one will work. I don't, we just took out there, what did I say, 75 cents, or what was that? 53 cents. So not huge trade, but not bad. We are only giving this back to 469.50 anyways. So if it comes back into here, actually the 50 period is 469.430s. So let's see if it works. It's now obviously fading back in a little bit here. So we'll give it some room. Was that the top? I don't know, but we're here to try it. Again, not a huge position, so let's hold the rest and see how far we can go. I mean, I don't think we get too much past a couple, I don't want to say it because I'm in the position, but I mean, just by going what we did yesterday, well, we know yesterday was bad, but where we've been today, breaking out, before then we did have some stops right there, 474, 475. I don't want to count our chickens before they hatch. I mean, this is nowhere away from even happening right now. So we'll go into the long here. Might as well do something into the close for NVIDIA. We did take some out of Microsoft. So the minute I got into NVIDIA, I just immediately punched out some of Microsoft, which may have been a bad idea, but we're still in that name as well. Here comes NVIDIA coming back down. We're just going to put our stop in front of everybody. So just so everybody can see it, I don't care. There's been traders on the show that's like, oh, I don't want to show my stop, but give me a break. No one's running this stop. 469. No one's running this anyways.
It's like they would, if it was going to go there, it's going to go there.
Nah, but it's just people that say that are obviously have to be wearing tin hats.
Yeah, I set my stop high a day, 5 cents above the high. It's
yeah,
just
whatever it is. I mean, I just feel, I do understand there's something about, making
my
sure
stop is at 79 on Mullen. Before, my stop was at, trust, Mullen's doing 150 million shares, man. Like, if it's going to run that high, it's going to run that high. It is what it is. I could understand that on, like, if you were trading something.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing comes to mind, but I'm sure there's names out there. Like, if it's really, really small.
It's not super liquid, yeah.
It's not super liquid. Like, maybe you wouldn't want to. I probably wouldn't. Like, if I was trading a really thin, like, buyout or something, I'd probably not want to tell you guys where a stop was because it's not a liquid name. But these are liquid names that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Trust me, that crap doesn't matter.
I mean, if someone's going to, like.
It doesn't matter.
It's like,
really
oh God, this guy is long right now. Oh, if this stock goes down 5 more cents, he's stopped out. Like, I don't know. If I get stopped out, I get stopped out. So, all right, we're going to watch out for that one. It was a good call to get out of some Microsoft, as we said, but if the market does fall back in, we will watch out for that. Google's still doing nothing right now, and this is what I mean by nothing. I mean nothing. It's barcoding, and what barcoding means is that if you get your phone now and you kind of just do like this over the chart, it'll just take you to Google's chart. Oh, that actually worked. Okay, so that was good. We'll see what happens now, but yeah, not doing much on the upside either. So let's just zoom this back out and figure out an out for Google. Yeah, I mean, why don't we just use the 200 period? It's bounced off there, right there. It's trying to do it now, so we use 132.75. Okay, 132. There we go. So you're going to see me do that as well. That would give us 55 cents worth of win, and if it comes up to the upside, we could probably get out of this as well.
Yeah, I'm not even going to wait for the high of the day.
133.10 on Mullen, or?
Yeah, like screw that. I'm just getting out. I just punched it out at 78 and not waited for 79 because I was just looking at this level two. Well, I'm showing you guys a chart. Darn it. I was just looking at my level two. And again, like the reason why I didn't wait for it to actually break the high that I just punched out in front of it, it got right down. Like once it hit 75, which is obviously a psychological level on that last short 77, it goes to that 1-to-1 zone off the high. And you could just see, like on the bid, it would come down on the bid. There's no size on the bid, but all of a sudden, like it was just refreshers. Like it's not, they're hitting the bid and there's nobody there and it's not going through. And then people are throwing on the offer like 10K here, 50K there. What do you think's happening to them when they throw the offer out? They're getting filled instantly. When it's just like everyone's like, and the gateway they're using is one that a lot of day traders use to get a good rebate or just get a good fill on penny stocks, and they're getting filled instantly on the offer. The second I saw that, it's like, just punch the heck out. So I just punched out. Maybe it's going to run the high of the day. Let's see if it gets to that dollar level. I definitely think, I do not believe in the long, but when I see the tape look bullish, I can get out of the short. At least they're stacking the offer as we speak. When I say they, it's kind of like a tin hat thing, but you can see what's going on here. The same size on every single gateway. Yeah, you want that? 46,000, 46,000, that's a pure coincidence. And then they do the same thing here at 80 cents as well. So sometimes that's somebody actually wanting shares. Other times, maybe someone just really wants it to go to the downside. Either way, I got out because the tape was bullish, and that's people throwing big offers, getting insta-filled, and no size on the bid, yet the bid holding every single time it tried to tick down. Brendo?
Busy afternoon. Here's another one. Net, guys, just popped up on huge volume. Still not seeing anything on this, but monster volume spike here for Cloudflare.
Man.
Salute to the person that was just taking a round lot of 10,000 short on Mullen, and it's like eventually they had to stop. I'm just saying.
The thing is, man, I mean, we talked about how diluted that stock is. I mean, I think like 10,000 shares now is like,
oh, no. Like people are, like one level, anytime size shows up, it's usually about 50 to 100.
Okay.
Something like that.
All right, about this right now. Did something just come out? Oh, yeah. Oh, well, we just got out of Peloton.
Where's Peloton?
It's not doing anything. I mean, the whole thing is that Peloton's actually...
How is it not moving?
Peloton, okay, Google's my #1 stock, NVIDIA's trying to be it right now, but Peloton's my #2 stock, and it was just a one trade, right? This is the one trade banger of the day for me. We'll see if we can put Peloton in there right now, NVIDIA right now, which is $1 in the... Money. Off that break that we gave to you even before it happened, of course. But right there, 15, 520. I might have to go over to NVIDIA. But 520 right now, 520, nice take. Best out there, 580, 578, pretty much the high of the day. And that was a good trade. So most of our trades were out here about 65, 70s. And then right now, if you zoom back over this way, you're going to see I just took it out at 34. So not much happening. We only had 10% left, but we did talk about that. And oh, shit. You know, I could be not feeling well, you know, this and that, but it's not going to change how I trade, right? And so there it is. Well, it probably will a little bit, but there it is, a nice little upside move on NVIDIA. And those of you asking about, like, you know, am I going to hold this into earnings? No. I mean, even if we were allowed to do that, there would be absolutely no point, because right now I'm out of 40% of this trade, and the most I got right there was I just got filled at flats there. So that was a good trade. I can't even figure out how. Where am I long? Okay, so we only took $1.30 there. We got filled at 472, and we're 472, and we're long at 470.75s basically. So you know, at most we got there was $1.30. So hopefully it continues to go up. But if you hold any sort of a piece after or into earnings, the thing is that at that point, sure, there's nothing wrong with YOLOing a certain percentage of your account.
$10 wick.
But just understand that, yeah, you're going to have, like, you know, that opportunity to do just that, and that is a YOLO trade. So if you like it, go ahead, go for it. But this has been a good one for us here, or for me, into the close. I'm going to wait to see if it continues to go up. My next offer is at 474, so we already talked about those levels. Hopefully we can get some action here into the close. Let me see if Brendan has given us an update. It was a sell to the downside, and there it is right now, 12 minutes ago, the same thing. 275 million to sell without the NASDAQ. And look, we're already ready to get out of this thing if it breaks back down below. So I go to adjust this now. 460. Before I was down here at 469.50. Now we're going to go to 469.85. So we probably won't even lose any money, even if this does come back down in. So if you want to get it all out, that was a good out. We were waiting at 472 flat. But let's just see what happens here into the close for NVIDIA earnings, man. If you don't take the risk, you don't get the reward.
Yeah, and I think it could be a $10 wick before earnings come out. That's the other side of it. Oh. Remember, almost every single time we're on this show and we're like, there's something with earnings after market, you'll see a big volume spike before earnings come out. Those are sometimes real. Like, it's just somebody fat fingering in way too early. And then, like, the stock will go like 60 and then back. So if you're sitting there with shares, like, you could just get wrapped up in that, and then you take a hit for absolutely no reason. Even if you could trade it, let's just say. So as always, you know how I roll around here. Maybe me telling you my stop was at the high of the day. Maybe that's why it got run at Marvell, but that's all right. Like, you just have to have an out. No, I'm absolutely kidding. I'm joking.
I like that.
Everybody, you knew my stop was at the high of the day. In that one case of Mullen, it was just bullish enough that I decided to take it out early and just punch out myself. but I would have stopped out that high the day as well. When I'm doing that trade, that's always going to be the play. I don't want to YOLO the long into here. It's about 15 minutes. Until the end. We have the imbalances coming through in like 5 or 6. Generally speaking, at 350, my favorite trade at 350 is a mean reversion trade, where like if you're in the money on something, like a lot of times it gets already gone to push the next leg on an imbalance is a little bit more unlikely. However, if an imbalance comes in the other direction, it will easily retrace the gap that it just made. That's a trade that I like. So once you're going into that, the best you do is get out, don't fight it. I'm still going to have Mullen on the back burner because that stock is doing way too much volume. It is starting to curl again. There's a big battle happening here, but the volume, as pointed out by many in the chat, you can see the volume is dwindling each time it hits that high. If this doesn't get to 90 cents, then that push to $1 is not happening today. And if it doesn't get to 90 cents, I do think there's a pullback coming. When it failed the dollar the last time, it dropped 20% pretty much instantly after market. So if it can't get there, I'd look for a late day pullback. Still plenty of time for that to happen here, but the volume is pretty solid, but it's definitely dwindling each time it takes another run at this 80-cent level. If it doesn't break 80, it's not getting close to $1, obviously.
So I'm already setting myself up here to get punched out at 470. So I slicked it to 470. I just feel like this trade is not, it's already not working. I already thought that NVIDIA, sure, we took $1.30, that's fine. But, you know, I just thought it would have ran into the close much more than this. Not even pulling back, but the fact that now it's pulling back, this is the whole rhetoric behind this trade is that people are feeling like they're not in. Well, if they're not in, I mean, they're not in, I guess, at this point. What was that just came out? Oh, Google. Okay, Google just came out, so that was good. We'll talk about that in a minute. But here we go, nice little upside move. Hopefully they can hold that 470. I just put the stop out breaking down below 470 right now. This was a shot, we talked about that, a shot in the dark. Well, not a shot in the dark, we took out the day's high, but we're gonna watch this, here it goes, right back down in. The minute it failed, we actually put an offer at 471.50 right now, as soon as it was dancing around 471, hoping for a bump back up. So maybe we'll get a little bit of resistance here at 470, but it's coming back down. So again, you know, what's life without whimsy? I mean, I made that up. I made that up, right? So yeah, shout out to the professor. But here it comes right down, and there it is. We are now out. So that was it right there. It just broke down. We actually got 470 as a fill, so that was pretty good. But it looks like that trade does not work itself out. So we'll just hit the sirens because we can't celebrate when it's up in the money and then not tell you guys that we got stopped out. But there was the trade. It triggered out. I think that was worth it. Just having some fun there at the end of the day. Let's see if it continues to work. We're now flat, though, heading in, which is kind of strange. We're not normally flat at this time.
I found myself in that spot, but you know what? I don't mind it. Like, there was a lot of things that were like action news trades, like Mullen was, and then U.S. Steel was. And I feel like when something happens like that, like volume spikes and they start going, it's usually just in and out. So, like, all the trend trades for me, I've been looking for a move off the top here, which the NASDAQ's trying to do. Google's pulling back, you're pulling back. What in the actual Marvel is going on? Because the market's pulling back, and that is still going.
Well, AMD is going. They're all going, except for NVIDIA.
But NVIDIA's pulling back. Google just pulled back. The NASDAQ just pulled back. Mullen's not pulling back. But this is actually accelerating. I got out of it. I was never thinking punch long. I was never thinking go long here into yesterday's high. I never like to take a late day breakout into overhead resistance. It's actually almost like half a rule of mine. It's not really, it's actually almost a rule of mine that I pretty much never do. And now it's taking out yesterday's high. This is setting up almost perfectly for 350 in 2 minutes. If this gets to $62, I'm gonna put ye old cheeky short it right at 350 with a 62 stop if it's sitting at like 90 something. And then risk 5 cents. And then if the imbalance comes out buy on this thing, then you get out for a 5-10 cent hit. If it comes out sell, it probably drops 34. That's a parabolic move into the 350 when NVIDIA is reporting after market. Wow, Marvel.
Yeah, good for them. And I kind of feel bad, but I mean, we got back into NVIDIA long, and now we're in the money again. 75 cents. We've been taking some outs here. I don't know. I mean, I do this sometimes, and sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't. But once we sort of bounce back up again, I just paid up a little bit more. I paid up to 20s. I feel bad because if anybody else uses 70 as a stop right now, we're just printing on this again to the upside. So again, in and out once it broke, and then right back in off the 50 period. So upside for NVIDIA, and we're still in it. Dollar in the money as it joins the club, Brendo.
Just hearing a note here from the Wall Street Journal guys. They're talking about Nielsen adding Amazon's streaming data to ratings considerations for Monday Night Football. So long story short, Nielsen going to use streaming data from Amazon's Monday Night Football, which would allow them to essentially charge more for ads on that.
Okay, I mean, that seems like a good contract for, I mean, whatever. It's actually not moving the stock a lot.
It's a good contract for the NFL as well because they do revenue share.
Yeah, good revenue share. I mean, I don't think it's actually going to move the needle there too much, but you just saw Amazon not doing much. We have 20 seconds till these imbalances are coming out.
Ooh la la.
Mullen,
Imagine NVIDIA's a Bible.
There's still no buyer. Like, there's no that big million size that was there above 90 on Mullen is not really showing up, but it's got to get to 90 first. With 10 seconds to go till the imbalances come out. Marvell's not at 62, so it's not really going to set up for that trade, but we are going to get the imbalances. I have them alive. I'm not in the position Sean is, so I got it right here for you. You probably see Kenvue and J&J. There you go. That's the wrong one. Kenvue's 14 million, but it's supposed to be an upweight. And J&J is also a sell. That is, that's obviously gigantic.
That's Oppo Taco.
Yeah, it's Oppo Taco. Kenvue's an ad on the Russell 1000 today. Intel's a sell 1.4. Amazon's a buy of 1 million. I don't see NVIDIA scrolling. AMD is a sell of 600,000. Apple's a buy of 500,000. This seems, I don't know, very mixed so far. Marvell's a buy, so I can stay away from that. 2 billion is the total number. I don't see NVIDIA at all. I'm going to continue to scroll. I'm not really seeing NVIDIA anywhere, but buy on Marvell, buy on AMD, small buy on Apple as well. And then the big one, I mean, Amazon 1 million, I guess, is the biggest buy. Intel's only $34 stock. And then Kenvue, 14 million shares to sell. But just keep in mind, like, there's probably a lot of people selling into this, knowing that there's going to be buy action. So like, there's going to be buyers at the close. I can just throw a selling auction order in there and not worry about it. But Kenvue did tank into this number. It's at that low. If Kenvue flips, like if that flips and you're down around here, that would be a spicy trade. When I say flip, at 355 is a major pairing event on the New York Stock Exchange floor. So you could see that imbalance shrink or go the other direction, oftentimes at 55 and then every minute after that. But if you're down at 2350 and it flips, that would be a juicy long here for Kenvue, which is suddenly very interesting.
Yeah, I love when I'm with the girls at Little League and they're talking about going Oppo Taco. I'm just like, that's just so funny.
Going yard.
Yeah, they're just like, oh, well, he just went Oppo Taco. And I'm like, it's just so funny because they're like 8 to 10 years old and they're talking like this. It's just
you
funny.
go Oppo Taco and let's just sign you to an NIL deal right now.
No, but it could just be like a little ground ball to the other side and they say it. It's just, that's what I'm saying. It's just so funny.
If they make it home, it's still Oppo Taco.
Oh, yeah, they can make it home. They can make it home on some overthrows. That's the one thing I was teaching them all at the last practice, how to steal home. Because the minute it gets by that catcher, man, at this age,
baby.
you can get going there, especially these girls, man.
I'm down with that 100%.
They can run crazy fast.
If you got speed and like Little League or whatever, like just the more aggression, the better.
Oh,
just
yeah,
don't
and I'm the third base coach.
Take every chance you can on the base paths.
Okay, just real quick right now. All right, so, Chief. So again, I know Brendan already said this, but I'm seeing it right here. Again, probably nothing, but Japan Chief Cabinet Secretary says these missile launches are a threat not just to Japan, but also regional security. And it's just, they're just testing. It's not, there is nothing there. It's just, that's the kind of stuff that spooks these markets. And trust me, like we already talked about before, these markets would not be doing what they're doing if there was any sort of a concern there, especially about the Asian sort of triangle there, because any problems with Japan, North Korea, China, and all that, man, that would be hitting the wires ASAP. Rocky. Okay, so right now, NVIDIA is pulling back down. We have our stop just slightly under 470 again. So this time we actually got out of more. You could see 3 outs right now. We hold a little piece back in for this break of 470, which is happening right now. Look at the NASDAQ is making that move down.
There's the pullback.
It's too bad we didn't get, there we go, we just got out again at the same level. So we're up on NVIDIA after all of this. So that's good. Much better today than yesterday. Microsoft is making that move down. We got out at 328 break. we didn't have many shares left. You could see all these outs right here, but that sucks because there's the move down for Microsoft. At least we had it.
Awesome.
So if you're still in it, good job on Softy. I'm just, got excited there looking at NVIDIA and missed all of these other trades. So that was a good opportunity there. Oh yeah, remember we said we'd highlight Google? Well, I mean, just as much as we take advantage of Microsoft, but this was Google, so look at that. Like if we don't get out of Google right now, that's 50 cents the other way as well. So there's the break back down in of Google. So that was actually a good trade-off. VWAP, our best out was only 132.96. It actually went up to 133.20. So we gave up about 25 cents on the upside, and then we got out in the middle again. So
that actually would have worked on
Not
Mullen.
bad.
Not Mullen, Marvell. Remember I was saying the 350, like that turn trade off the imbalance coming out? It did work, but I'm not switching away from Kenview, so I'm going to show you my black chart here. But there was that top. I was looking for a 62 reversal, like right at the even to risk 5 cents or maybe a little bit more based on slippage. But we're gonna, in 15 seconds, you're going to probably see some change on this on Kenview. 1.14 million to sell. It's expected to be added to the Russell 1000. That meant there was 4 million net buy, actually. Lumen's in there. J&J's to sell, which is actually the right way. Amazon's still 800,000. Very likely a lot of these change in the next couple of seconds. There we go. So it just paired off. Still 8 million to sell on Kenview. It's still holding forth. That probably needs to get down to like a million or two, something really small, and then you're pretty confident it's going to pair off. Amazon sticks around for 750,000 to buy. Nothing really standing out. Marvell's still a small buy, so that's probably holding up a little bit better than it was before. Yeah, this Kenview, it's wild. It's going back and forth 10 cents. What I'm looking for, ideally, would be a dump into 23.50, and then it pairs it right off. Grab a quick long, stay in it for a few seconds, scalp it out 10, 15 pennies, and then end your day off there. But unless it breaks down, it's not that attractive of a price yet on Kenview. Still plenty of time for it to happen while I'm doing that. Guess it's not going to make it. But it wasn't at a level I wanted to try. Like, again, the same thing happens, and I'm for some reason wanting to short this level. Fine. But there was certainly something in front of that 80 level I liked. I definitely knew I liked it around that 70 price. I had no reason in particular to like it at this price on Mullen, but it is pulling back. Great move to the upside, and congratulations, Mullen. I just don't think it's going to make it to that day one for the $1, barring something insane happening in the next 3 minutes or so. If I see somebody jump on the bid really big, I'd still try to punch long. If I see a few million shares start following it up, I'd still punch long because there is still 3 minutes.
I did want to give a big shout out there to Kristen Norman. Her husband, Les Norman, there sent me at some point.
Oh, still on me.
Fabian. There he goes. Oh, it's Ramin who's on it. Are we going to Brendan? No, I hear him in our ear. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, Les Norman said that hitting book, so thank you so much. Her husband, Les Norman, remember I was showing you, had the cup of coffee. He signed a card for you as well. Had a cup of coffee in the majors there with the Royals, and then there it is right there, now as a hitting coach. So thank you so much for that as well.
The next thing he's doing is he shifts his weight, is he's going to drop that elbow down,
he's
and
got
then
the
the
good
level.
technique. Yeah, he's got the good technique right there.
That's
so,
textbook. Right
that's some textbook hitting right up in there. So thank you so much, Kristen and Les.
I could watch, I'm one of those baseball people. Like, I can watch a good swing just on YouTube, like over and over and over. I could watch Miguel Cabrera just swing over and over. George Brett, Will Clark, I'm like all day long, man. I could watch Will Clark swing all day.
It's a technique thing for sure.
It's so beautiful to see. You don't have to be that big. Mullen is falling. You suck me up.
Sky is falling.
It is what it is. That's your 10% pullback on Mullen. It is not going to make it. Let's go, forget about it. Like, that trade is done. It's not going to get to the dollar, get close to it for that push. Kenview might have just paired. No, it's still a huge sell. 11 million to sell. So I guess that buy is not really showing up. So much for that. Like, I thought maybe it'd pair off and flip to the right side, which would be a buy. J&J is the one that paired off. J&J is the one coming in.
Okay.
It's now a complete reversal. J&J is a buy and Kenview is a sell. So that puts no trade out there at all. Okay,
so let's try to look out for that one there as well. Just quickly there, it really sucks because when I'm going to look over, and I think we're doing on our show today, I was going to do a trade review. I don't know if I'm going to do Google or Microsoft. We did Microsoft yesterday, but we just hit it again today. So Microsoft, good little waiting for the top and trying to be patient for that. We talked about, continuously getting stopped out before eventually hitting a good one. And we had another good one right now. So join me right away, immediately after the show in 2 minutes. We'll be doing another one. It was all good, but now, today is the big one today with NVIDIA. We haven't had big earnings like this. Well, we've had a couple good earnings plays come through, but today's going to be a big one. Where
This is gargantuan.
This is gargantuan. Yeah, that's a very good word to use there. Let's just check out where NVIDIA is at the close. Yeah, so I get frustrated when I see a chart like this because it's just back and forth, but that's fine. If this isn't telling you that people have no idea what the hell's going on with earnings, you're going to have to wait because this is not doing anything right now. People want to buy it. People want to sell it. Let's go. It's earnings day, and it's upon us right now. It's 4:59. Hopefully it comes between now and 4. I hope it comes before 4:10, and we'll be able to assess everything right now. All right, it's 3:59. I just heard some groans in the back. Maybe let's see. Kenview getting a little bit lower right now. J&J flips. No, J&J's always been a buy. So yeah, not much. Everything. You see how everything's starting to pair off right now. We can watch Kenview in case something happens. There's only 30 seconds until the bell. It looks like it's going to be. We're going to be blessed with the man in the black jacket. You know you're serious when you're wearing these leather jackets inside like this right now.
Hey, is that my brother's leather jacket?
He's in the Matrix. What is that from?
Remember my brother's leather jacket got stolen
I thought
in
that was
high
from
school?
A movie. I was like,
it
got stolen. No, I actually don't remember.
You don't know that story?
That. No.
I'll tell you the story
That's
tomorrow.
funny because I found a leather jacket.
The dude wore it to school the next. Anyways,
oh, did he?
I'll tell you guys the story tomorrow. In 4, 3, 2, 1, and ring it. You never heard this story?
I don't know. It's not ringing a bell to me.
Dude, we're in the cafeteria, and then Amar goes.
Your brother's 2 years or 3 years?
He's a year older than me, my older brother. And then one of our friends goes, "Yo, man, isn't that Len's leather jacket?" Because my brother had his jacket stolen from morning basketball. We had like a morning basketball program at our high school, and he's like, "Yo, isn't that your jacket?" And I'm like, "Yo, that is my brother's jacket." And then, but the guy was like 18 years old and he was still in grade 10. So I'm like, maybe don't step to him because I'm not sure he's gonna care.
So what was the resolute of that? Nothing?
I mean, what are you
going to do? The guy just rolled around in your brother's jacket, I guess?
I mean, yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Because it wasn't worth it. Like, he's 18 years old. He's in grade 10.
Oh, yeah. No.
And, like, he was the kind of
One
dude,
of those dudes.
I don't want to be stereotypical, but he's exactly the kind of dude that you look at him and you're like, you're not messing with this guy.
Right.
Absolutely not. Hell to the no. But it is past 4 o'clock.
Damn, Brampton
it's obviously massive earnings coming at 4:20, not just NVIDIA, but you have Snowflake. I don't know what time they come out.
Yeah, I got to get over there. So
Should be wild. Thank you, Fabian, for ringing the bell. Fabian and Ramin kicking butt on the 1s and 2s there. Shout out, obviously, to the professor and Max. I hope he enjoys it in Barcelona. He's off. We're going to get Obi tomorrow for the entire team. It's been absolutely a blast. Tomorrow's going to be super, super wild, but it ain't over. Because we're going to the desk. You've got the after show. Brendan will be there.
It's not out yet.
And then we've got Sean, and he's got a special guest today.
I'm gonna run over there.
Mr. Belcher will be coming through as well. So big show. Let's get to it.
All right, let's get you caught up on what you need to know as we head into the aftermarket here on a busy Wednesday afternoon. First off, we had that pop in net